நமக்கே மாதிரியே இருக்கே.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Imtiaz sir, good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
Well,
sir.
I am there since 1:25.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to all of you guys. Happy New Year to all of you. All 30 of you who joined.
Yeah,
Happy
thank
New
you,
Year.
sir. Happy New Year, you too.
Students,
Happy New Year, sir.
how has the new year started? Very well, I suppose.
Yes.
Yes, it's not coming very assertively.
Yes, yes, sir, it has become a template.
Unless we complete our assignments and submit, it will be like that.
Oh,
You are pressurized with the
that's
assignments.
full. You've done very well. See, as far as I'm concerned, you've done my assignments very well. Okay.
Yeah, we are done your thing.
All of
But
you are
another
getting very good
two.
marks. Relief to you.
So still assignment one grades have been
Yeah.
not given, sir.
My assignment, I'll give it. I've already known I have to enter it. Yeah. It's a big
Okay,
job.
okay.
Someone of you should help me in entering. Anyhow, I will do it. It's okay. It's 120, no? Marking though, then and there I did it in your class. It's Please mute all of you. Should we start or wait for a few more minutes? Today, I thought we'll discuss about the training and development. If time permits, maybe performance appraisal also. Because you may be left out with 1 or 2 sessions only, right? One more session, you will take it for again for your presentation. The second assignment. Second assignment, all of you done or still in the process?
Completed, Professor.
Second assignment done?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
We are,
So we finished it.
The
so we need to do
interesting second
presentation for that
assignment.
also.
Preferably, yes. Yes. You want to do or you don't want to do presentation?
Yeah, we can do, but again, it will
But
consume some time.
Don't want, sir.
yeah, let's. Yeah. Please go ahead. Somebody saying something.
So I think I'm facing the issue with the sound, or everyone also facing the issue.
Yes,
So you
sir,
want
your
to say
voice is
something?
lagging.
Come on.
Sir, your voice is lagging.
Is it better? Is it better now? Can you hear me
Yeah,
better?
yeah, it's better.
Kind of, it's a little
Maybe
bit
I
disturbing, sir.
have
It's
to
not
switch
that
off
much
my
clear.
video. Okay. If it is unstable, I will switch off my video. Okay. Okay, now
Yeah,
can
yeah.
we start the session today? Or wait for some more time? It's already 1:33 in my watch. 49 people are there. What do you
We can
suggest?
start. We can
Okay.
start.
So the today topic is going to be training and development. Okay. Now, usually it used to be called training and development. Of late, we started calling learning and development, talent development. But whatever name it called, training and development or learning and development or talent development, it occupies a very important critical role in management. So if it is so, do we really need a training and development and why? Because I'm recruiting all of you highly educated guys, right? Engineers, MBA, PhDs and things like that. Why do I have to spend money on giving training and development? When I'm already recruiting a well-qualified, competent, knowledgeable, value-based guys, why do I need to give a training and development? Do I need training and why? I want your comments. Or simply we are just HR guys, we are trying to do training for the sake of doing training and development. Do we need training and why? Come on.
As per the company standards, we need to give some training. What is company doing, so that the person can understand and he can work. And also the skill set what company is looking for. Sometimes the fresher who is coming out of the college, he'll be not having that kind of skill sets. So he'll be good in academically, but the skill sets which is required for the company, he needed to get some training on that. So on that sort, I think that is needed.
According to you, training is needed for the new freshers who are joining the company.
Yeah.
What else? Is it only training need? What you said, what I would understand is that the freshers, though however qualified they may be, but when they come to join, they need to have some skill set, some cultural adjustment. So there is a need for a new people who are joining any company or any business enterprise to get them oriented. Okay, this is what you said. One
Yes.
aspect of training. What else?
Training is, yeah, so training is needed to be competent. With the outside market, we need to be competent enough. So we need to keep all of our employees skilled, upgraded, and that is where training is very much essential.
So according to you, the competition is going up, the strategies keep changing, the technology is changing. So the employees' capability and skill set also need to be upgraded so that they can contribute better to improve the quality of product or improve the customer response or reduce the cost of operation. So training is continuous. It is based on the external and competitive situation. The training need to be taken it on a continuous, regular basis. This is what you said, right? So which means it is not only for the new entrants, it is also for the existing employees, whichever role they are there, they have to go through it. Second, very well said. Two, happy to teach you guys here. You make me to think. Second, what is the third?
Professor, this is an ongoing process and where we have to learn, de-learn and again learn. And according to the market demands, we need to upgrade the skills. And this is a learning process where all the lessons learned will be recorded and it will be used as a basis for experiencing the future and correcting it.
Correct. So as you said, it's a continuation of second point. It is going to be an ongoing process. It's not a one day you inducted, oriented training is not over, right? It is, the training is needed even for the managing directors. Even for the training director himself will also require a training. Don't you think so? So it's an ongoing process for anyone, everybody. Because the market situation, the technology changes, the market changes, the expectation changes, the process changes, the strategy changes. So the training need to be ongoing. This is what you wanted to say, right? It's a continuation of second point, right? Very well said.
Yes.
Yeah, what else? Yes, Diksha, you wanted to say something. Come on, what else? So at the end of the day, all of you agree training is a very important role, right? It is not just yeah, Sumesh, you wanted to say something.
Sir, I feel every company has its own goal set, and they will have their own targets.
Yeah.
And the training is required for every step of our work. Actually, every one monthly training or quarterly training, and as and when the policy changes, as and when the company goals changes, they have to conduct training and development in, frequently, so that we can able to know the company better, and we can know the company the goals better. Whether we are irrespective, whether we are experienced or the freshers, the training and development should be it's a regular process, so that we can understand the company requirement better, and we can give our best service to the company.
So all of us can conclude training is a critical core function from day one of the employee join till his retirement. Can we conclude?
Yes,
can
that
we
is what I.
Yeah. It's a critical important function. It's not just for the sake of doing training. Training is very much important and critical, and it's applicable to employee the day he joins, the day he goes on to different department until he retires. The training is important. This is what we are trying to say, right? Okay. Now it's a very well said. Now the second thing is the training is necessary or panacea? Panacea. You know the meaning of panacea? What is the literary meaning of panacea? Panacea means a single medicine like a steroid. It can solve a lot of problems. Can training solve all the organization related problems? Production is going for a task, or a lot of market complaints, or sometimes your warehouse is full, not able to sell. Can training solve all problems? You said training is important, critical, necessary. That's what we conclude in the first part. Panacea means, is it a single pill which can solve every problem?
It depends on how seriously the employees take it.
Okay, Anusha, very well said. Yeah. How employees seriously take it. Okay, done. One. What else? See, a lot of organizational problems are different root causes. Something, your technology itself is wrong. Your product itself is wrong. Your market is itself wrong. Your placement of people, the technical competency and the job requirement is not correct. Their attitude level is not correct. Okay, there could be a number of reasons. So training solves a lot of problems. Yes. So, but you cannot say training is a panacea, means training can solve any problem, which means training can solve training related problems. Are you getting my point? What is the training related problem? Like you said, somebody has to be inducted. Yes, orientation is needed. If you're not given proper orientation, he is not likely to get along well. He may lose interest immediately after joining. Attrition will take place. So training is important there. Or suppose you are working in a particular platform, particular software, the company has gone for an acquisition, you need a different software, different platform, you need to be given a training. Okay. And you have been working predominantly on the design and technology part of it. Now you have been promoted based on your good achievement in the design and technology and the operation part. You are getting into leadership position where requires more of a managerial change management or a strategical leadership level. So you got a lot of, you are basically a technical guy, maybe a BTech, MTech, and you work too much in the specialized technology, but you've been promoted to be a leader. There you need to get more into general management, strategic management, leadership management. So you need to be trained on that aspect. By virtue of your experience, you got all those experience, capabilities of how to lead a team, how to lead a change and all those things. But still you need to be trained, right? So that is also training related. But there are a lot of problems. If the where training may not be able to solve. So training can solve only training related problem. Now tell me, where are the places training cannot solve a problem? Can you give me an example, for example? Where training can solve, where training cannot solve a problem. We said training can solve all training related problems, whether it's induction, whether it's expansion of business, whether it's a new market, whether it's a new product, or your position is getting changed, their role is getting changed, or your supervisor manager is not able to handle the people, okay, or your MA system needs a different approach, or you need to work on a different platform. All those areas training can help it. Okay, but training cannot solve all the problem, which is not training related. That's what we said the word Panacea. Which are the areas training cannot solve a problem? Can you quote some example?
For example, there is a labor strike ongoing, which is agitating for more than a week. So there, it is only through personal relations and leadership we can come to some conclusion. There, we need not have any specific training to come to a conclusion with respect to labor strikes.
Okay. Good attempt. Good attempt. Anybody like to say something? What you said is not answer for both. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's continuing with Venkatesh, like it's conflict of interest when there is a conflict of interest in the teams. So I think we need to, training is not necessary there. We need to collaboratively bring together the people who are not agreeing with the things, and we need to train them differently, like not like this trainings, like we need to approach one-on-one or kind of other different practices we need to do so that people will come up with agreement with whatever the solutions or any suggestions provided by the company.
Good, very well said. Both of it done well. Anybody like to say? Then I will add to that. I will analyze and say what they said.
So if there is some, yes, sir. So if there is some troubleshooting or some strict deadlines where planning and all is required, so it is completely dependent on the soft skills of a person, on how best he estimates things. So in such cases, training is not something, it is totally dependent on his soft skills and how well he plans. So, yeah.
But don't you think the soft skill can also be trained?
Yes, but it is again dependent on a person's attitude and how well he takes up things and how well he takes his own thing.
Yeah, you touched a very important point. See, in training, you are improving knowledge, skill, and attitude. Knowledge and skill can be relatively easily, with a lot of challenges, can be improved. But there are people are talking about a lot about attitudinal change training, but still it's in a very primitive stage. It's very difficult. I'm not saying that training cannot improve attitudinal change. There are training, sensitivity training, T training, and things like that. But it's a still long way to go to prove how we are changing the attitude. So what you said, all three of you, like you take the first example. The first example is that the training can solve a problem provided the HR guy has been given a training on how to negotiate, how to pursue. That can definitely help. But training cannot solve if the top management is not willing to entertain that strike itself in a very diagnostic manner. They say the labor are going wrong. We deal them ruthlessly. Not getting to the level of pursuing, negotiating, understanding. If that was the issue, that could have been solved by training. But if the issue itself that, like you said, it's a sort of attitude. No, we don't bother. We don't want to handle it. Then training cannot solve that problem. It's like third C set is also about attitude. You have a skill. You have a very good soft skill, or you improve your soft skill. But your attitude itself, you don't want to use your soft skill. You don't want to use your managerial skill. You don't want your strategic skill. Then it cannot solve. Okay. So it's well said. Training, again, concluding that. Yeah, please, you said something.
Yeah, one more thing, sir. Like the tacit knowledge, it cannot be achieved by training. It all depends on the experience and how individual handles the situation. It cannot be written also.
What can you repeat it again? It's a very different perspective. Good perspective.
Tacit knowledge. We have two types of knowledge. One is the one which can achieve through learning or training, and the other knowledge is called a tacit knowledge, where it cannot be experienced. Like you cannot feel it.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
That cannot be achieved through training.
Very good perspective brought in. One is training. The other thing is experience. Soft skill in how to deal with people, persuade people, have patience, all those things is taught through training, through knowledge, through case studies. But practically at that moment, having that kind of restraint, controlling your coolness, right? That comes through experience. Even experienced people lack at times. Are you getting my point? You take the same negotiation which is happening in the labor and management. Excuse me. So in that case, definitely training helps you. If you know about T analysis theory, you are supposed to be cool, you are supposed to be encouraging, you're supposed to allow them to participation. All those things training helps you. But to what extent you are basically, practicing that restraint, that comes through experience. Even experienced people lack it. So what do we conclude so far based on these two? Come on, somebody conclude and let me take a water. How do you conclude based on these two slides now? One is, again, to conclude, training is important, very critical, very core. It can make a significant impact in the organization, provided it is done properly. Number one. Number two, let's be cautiously be clear. Training can solve a lot of training-related problem, not anything which is not related to training-related problem. Is it clear to all of us? Two concepts. Suppose tomorrow we get into a question, the importance of training, the critical function of training. Is the training is a panacea? Can training solve all the problem? You should be able to answer it. These four concepts are clear to us, right? Yes?
Yes, Prof.
Yes, sir.
Now, if that is the case, the second point is, what is the difference between education, training, and the... It's all interrelated, right? Yeah, somebody is chatting. So, what is education, training, and development?
Education is giving the basic thing, basic knowledge,
Yeah.
and training is upgrading the knowledge base. And development, we can say, with the basis of knowledge and training, how to move to the next level. This is what my understanding.
Good. What is development?
With it's like application of science.
Okay.
Science is the basic thing, and with the application of science, we can get the technology. So
Okay.
that's where the development part plays.
Great. Anybody like to add to Venkatesh?
Yes, sir. So education is what a person learns, the basics, and training is how best we can mold his education and ensure that he is valued in the marketplace. And development is how best he utilizes the training and education to develop and enhance whatever he's been working on.
Good attempt, Anusha. Very good attempt. Anybody else?
Sir, education is a long-term, it's given based on long-term requirements. Training is given based on, current requirements.
Okay. And development?
Development also is, based on dynamic requirements.
Yeah, good. Dynamic requirement. Good. Very good point. Yeah. See, education is a very macro, very broader. You study a lot, which takes a lot to your training and as well as development. People with a less education, with less, macro, broader perspective, may not be trained effectively. If you have a potential, then only you can train, right? If you don't have a knowledge, if you don't have a base, how training can help a lot? So education is a broader, much needed, philosophical, and in different level you study training. Education is like we already discussed. It's immediate, focused, short skill. It's a continuous one based on the situation to situation. The development is the one one or two of you used nice words. It's a dynamic. And the right word is that your potential development to become a leader. Management development, you can say management development. You reached, all of you start as a functional level, whichever based on your function. Then you get into the middle level of the post, maybe GM, AGM, and things like that. Then you are all slotted for the leadership position. When you get into leadership position, whichever department, you are more into managerial development. where we need to really develop your potential to be a leader, to be a change agent, to be strategically oriented, and then to be collaborating, to be doing all those kind of strategic assignments and market development, things like that. So development is basically dynamic and taking the potential of the individual to the highest part of it, and more towards managerial development. So education is a starting point. All of you come with MBA, MTech and things like that. You come with your knowledge, all assets and things like that. Training puts you, depends upon the company requirement, the job requirement, the task requirement, that time market requirement, that time technology requirement, and that time the culture of the company requirement. Like Tata has got a different culture, Reliance got a different culture. So like Tata successor could not succeed because their cultural training was not fit in that one. So similarly, somebody working in Tatas may not be able to work in Reliance. Reliance people may be able to work in Tatas, but the one who have been working in Tatas for a long time may not be able to come and work in Reliance. So this is a training part of development. Is I completed middle level. I have a lot of potentialities. The potentiality has not been developed, trained according to the leadership positions. That is how I would say education, training, and development. Anybody would like to comment on that, on what I said? Yeah, you are most welcome to comment. Have you understood education, training, and development difference? Yes?
Yes,
If
sir.
yes, yes. Okay. Now the third part we already discussed. Training for whom? Training is for all levels. Training for at all levels for everybody. Even the chairman, MD requires a training. Basically, the management development becomes more effective if the training management development starts from the top. If they are not clear about how to go about strategizing, if they are not clear about how to empowering the leaders, if they are not clear about how to develop a business leaders, if they are not good at creating entrepreneurs out of the employees, right? So it's a cascading. When I talk about management development, it should start more at the top. So we normally think about trainings for junior people or no, training and development is for everybody. And you also said it's an ongoing recurring process. Even to me, if I have to come to take up another, I have to write a research. So I have to write a research paper with some Harvard University professors. So they have a different writing style. They have a different software. They have different approaches. I need to go through the training. Even if I have to work on an advanced Excel, I need to go through training. So training for anybody, everybody, it is so, if it is properly structured, processed, it can be really may have a significant impact on individual effectiveness, meaning by I'll be happy, I will do my job properly, so I will get recognition, team effectiveness, productivity effectiveness, organizational effectiveness, business effectiveness, provided training is taken in a systematic, scientific manner. But if training is taken in an ad hoc, informal manner, it may not give the result. Yeah, it will give the result. But if you want the best of it, the training, what the training should give at the end of the day, training should give individuals should feel, yes, I'm effective. I perform very well professionally. I perform very well personally. I feel happy in contact. The group is effective. The task is also achieved properly. If all these things are done, organizational effectiveness is definitely goes. Business effectiveness goes up very well. The turnover goes up very well. The customer gets a benefit. So everything is taken. But to take this one like any other function, training is taken in most of the organization in an informal, ad hoc, not so professional manner. I said, I want you to comment on that. Training is taken in many organizations. A lot of importance has come last 10 years or 20 years. That's why we talk about training and development. We started talking about learning and development. We started talking about talent and development. To me, to a large extent, everything cuts across the same. Maybe when you talk about talent development, it's more into development, management development. So, but still, to what extent it is scientifically done, or it is done based on an ad hoc, informal, inconsistent manner. Some training calendar is prepared and done it. Is it the only way? Or it has to be approached in a purely scientific manner. Like a doctor, like I told you many times. When you go to a doctor, what will you say? First thing you will say, very simple. Your blood pressure, sugar and cholesterol, and then maybe your heart condition through some of the ECG and things like that. Is training is taken that way? Do you think that training is taken in that manner? More systematic, more dynamistic, analytical, prescriptive, need-based, and formal, and then consistent manner? Is it taken that way? Or training is still taken, though the intention may be there, the effort is on, but still ended up in more an informal, little ad hoc, little not so professional manner? I want your comments on 2 points I thrown at it. So we concluded only 3 points. Training can be really give you fantastic result. Training is needed for anybody, everybody. Though training may not solve all problems, training can solve 70 to 80% of the problem. 3. There's a difference between education and training and development. But training, to get all the benefits of the training, it has to be done in a very, analytical, diagnostic, prescriptive, professional, need-based at all levels. Is it being done? I want your comments.
Yes, Professor, this is being part of, say, employee performance management.
Yeah.
So if we see in that perspective, then there is a prescriptive and structured training being undertaken, say at the beginning of each year, and it will be reviewed at definite intervals. So this is also required, and I will also say even ad hoc based training is also required based on the situations. So both I would recommend it is applicable.
Okay. I mean, many organizations, do they have a systematic approach to training and development?
Yes, I have seen in few organizations where I have worked. There we have a systematic approach, like based on the profile, there will be training needs identified in the beginning, and at definitive calendars, it will be assigned to respective members, and it will also be evaluated at the end of training with some short question and answer session.
Good, Venkatesh. I like somebody else to comment. Your experience in your own organization. Come on, Venkatesh has been talking. I might expect some other people to talk. There are 73 guys online.
Yes, Professor. There are nowadays some kind of training and certifications are having done based upon the required skill set as per the demanding market situation, and companies are giving the internal training, and there are some internal certification also. That kind of mechanism established.
Okay. So you mean to say that the effort is still on the right direction?
Yeah, companies are taking that direction. I mean, most of the companies are taking, but yeah, as per the changing market scenario and that updated technology, which is changing very fast, company are running on that track to make those or their employees skilled.
Okay, great. Good. So yeah, anybody else? Come on. I want to put more.
In some companies, even they provide like 80% of the training fees will be reimbursed if an employee completes a certification, and it will be helpful for his profile, ongoing profile which he manages. So that way they encourage the employees to take.
I'm happy to hear this thing. That is a good practice. Yes. I mean, it cuts many things. Employees' skill gets improved, employees happy, so you'll stay with the company. So employees happy, organization is happy. It's a win-win. Great. Yes. Somebody else, I like to get some other comments from other people. What is your experience about training and development?
Sir, as per as per I've seen my organization that the team manager has to identify the training requirements, like the entry level, mid level, and high level the team. And based on that, they have to identify and they have to be trained. So it's a general training will not be useful for everybody. Even for if you said the advanced Excel, but advanced Excel training is required only for the mid-level. For the entry-level people, they may not utilize that. So based on that, the training has to be given. Once they come to that level, that training has to be given. Yeah. Otherwise, it will become useless. That's what I felt.
Okay, great. Come on, guys. Your experiences. I need 4 or 5 guys to come in.
Yeah, so sir, this is Anusha. So I work at Synopsys, and our field is ethical hacking. So we have something called lunch and learn, so that like everybody will have meetings on different timelines, and our organization believes that it is not right to keep a training in such time. So we have something called lunch and learn, where it is during the lunch period, we have lunch ordered by our office, and that time we have different people coming on stage and sharing different, like they have hacked something new and they come up and educate others. So this way we ensure that all are on the same page. So yeah, this is also one of the things we've been observing, and it's very helpful.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
It is done informally, your learning takes. Yeah, it's informally it takes, right?
Yeah, it's everything is organized by office itself. They give us lunch and they make us sit in a podium and the person will be explaining. And that way time is also utilized, and it will be a lunch time, so we won't have any other meetings. So everybody will be there. So the
learning is effective. The learning is effective. The training learning is effective.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good point. I'm happy to listen from you. Okay, what else?
So large and mid organizations, they're having a tie-ups with training organizations like Pluralsight and Udemy, something like that. They're purchasing the subscription for the larger organization, and they're giving access to all employees, and they're tracking the progress through the performance management system. That is one of the things larger organizations are doing, Professor.
Good. Basically, they are linking learning and development along with the performance criteria also.
Exactly. And also they are providing the resources. Earlier, somebody has to coordinate and conduct, and there are a lot of efforts are needed. But what they are also doing is they are buying the subscriptions for the employees and giving access to the team. So
good. Yeah. Anybody else like that?
It's not only the company's responsibility to develop you or train you. It's individual responsibility, like for adding to Bhaskar, like individual responsibility to take for developing ourselves. And in that regard, in my company, they're linked up with LinkedIn. So LinkedIn in-learnings are there. So we can go there, we can opt any learnings which we need. So like that, we can improve ourselves there also. And we can get an online certification for some courses in LinkedIn. So individually, we need to put some efforts, which are the areas which we are lacking behind, and we need to identify that, and we need to take that trainings.
Yeah,
definitely.
I agree.
Definitely, each individual knows better about his current job, his existing skill, competencies, the future market is the way it's coming, where you like to project yourself in 5 years' time, which are the new technology or software or managerial leadership skill you need to learn. So accordingly, you have to start working at it. So that is the best approach of doing it.
So, Professor, can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so
no, your voice is not coming. Hello, whoever is talking, your voice stopped coming. Can you hear me, all of you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
I think there's a network issue with Swarup.
Yeah.
I think we can't hear you, Swarup.
Swarup, you are trying to say something, we cannot hear you. Can you try? Swarup, are you there, or we move on?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I was telling, like, since I come from a semiconductor industry, so we have a little bit different strategy. This is like mainly targeted for the new college grads. We hire as a bunch of people. So we are kind of have introduced, in their induction program, each team from each let's say hardware module or like software team, they will have some kind of internal training sessions with recordings, and that we show to those NCG in their induction program. So post that, we will have a certification, and based on the scores and the team selection, they will be alerted to the respectable teams.
Okay, great. Good. So in other words, every organization definitely today doing a lot of training and development activities, right? In whichever way, like she said, lunch and day, somebody, it's a calendar training. All organizations are undertaking training and development activities, which we must admit. But still there is a scope to, structure training and development in a more conceptual, framework-oriented manner. That's what we are going to learn today. So with that, we'll move on to the next one. What are the types of training? Like you said, guys, it could be for new employee orientation or induction training. The second could be your current job performance. You are doing well, for some part of performance, you need some sort of skill improvement or knowledge improvement, you got an improvement, or you are going to be promoted from a technical role to managerial role, or within the technical role, you are getting into some other senior role. So you need to be trained. Maybe that you are new, a lot of new SOPs have come, new technologies have come, new processes need to be done, or you are a functional, you want to learn a balance scorecard approach to balance sheet preparation. You need a supply chain model to be understood. So there are a lot of functional knowledges and everything, best practices coming. You need to be trained. So you are good at all those, technical or functional, but you are not too good at managing people. You are not too good at supervisory. Most of the people who are working under you are not happy, and they are even trying to leave because your managerial style is not correct. Your supervisory style is not correct. There's a need for a training. And the same thing is with the leadership. The high level leadership, they are not able to set the goals. They are not able to, propel the vibration in the organization. They are not to develop a pipeline in the leadership. So they also need a leadership training. So other could be issue-based training. Somewhere some team is having a problem. Somewhere some change management is an issue which you are not able to clear. Or there could be succession planning. The organization is expanding. There is going to be a lot of middle level, senior level positions. Can I take from people from outside all the time at lateral? By experience, a lot of lateral appointments are not that effective. So how do you take care of a succession planning at middle level, at senior level, or junior level? So this could be n number of levels of training. Have you got it? Now, whatever you people talked about, somewhere it falls into the line. It could be orientation training. It could be induction training. Now, as I said in many classes, we need to understand with all those facts and figures in a concise capsule form of what is the framework, what is the model. From theory, we go into practice. From practice, we have to get into theory, right? So these are the types of training which, to me, by and large, we undertake. Could be orientation, induction one. How do I improve the current job performance? How do I prepare that guy for a future role? How different SOPs I'm bringing in? I'm writing about SOPs, but if the guys are not being trained to learn the SOP, it will not be implemented. New technologies coming, new machines coming, new process coming, new software coming. As I said, functionally also in the supply chain, e-commerce, digital format. Okay, in the balance sheet, this one, like balance scorecard kind of working. HR guys, how do you work with the new social level kind of recruitment? So a lot of functional training needed. And I also told you managerial, supervisory training. And again, there are sometimes your breakdown is more, your absenteeism is more. When I talk about issue-based, your absenteeism is more, your breakdown is more. And sometimes you are wasting a lot of raw materials. And sometimes only the night shift production is going for a loss, or attrition is going high, or people's satisfaction level is too low. Your customer satisfaction is not there because of your employees. So there could be n number of issues on that. On the top of it, succession. Am I able to provide trained, cultured, competent people in my organization from within the organization? Or many times I'm trying to take from people outside at a lateral level, which is not likely to be effective. So these are the broad spectrum of training scope for any organization. Do you agree with this? Or anything you want to add or improve or modify or don't agree? These are the areas you are likely to structure a training in all these areas. When I said professional, formal, consistent, when you think at this level, when you start working a document for your own organization, do you have a training for oriented? How? Do you have identified the current job performance need everywhere? Yes. Do I have a technology-oriented checklist? If I work out all the spectrum, then to first step is that I'm working in a more professional, more systematic, more structured based off structuring the training function. I use the word structuring the training function. Now your comments. Have we covered all those things, or do you need to cover more on this? It's not necessary we covered everything. It may not be exhaustive, but to a large extent, we covered broadly many areas which is to be covered for any organization. Now your comments. Come on, give your comments. Now we have to get more into, from practice into more of a conceptualized, framework-oriented approach to training function. I use the word training function. Okay, now the first is that, are we clear about it? These are the areas training intervention is definitely needed. Do you think there are some other areas where training intervention could be needed? Your comments on that. Your reflection and comments to the slide. Come on, guys.
Professor, there's something in my organization called as PIP, that is Performance Improvement Plan, when the performance of an employee is not up to the mark. So, I mean, not really up to the mark. So they get lower ratings. So then they are highlighted for the PIP program, and then they are moved to a set of trainings to train them accordingly as per the requirement.
Good, Preeti. That comes under the second, current job performance improvement. Right, Preeti?
Yes, Professor.
What you said is coming under the second category, improving the current job performance through the practice of PAP. Okay, the structure is current job performance improvement. The practice used by your company is PAP. Right, Preeti? I understood correctly?
Yes, Professor, that's correct.
Yeah. Now we are talking about structure as well as practice. Like what Preeti said, we can take it. This is a structure and the practice. Orientation also, induction also, people can have so many names, so many practices. So we are talking at the same time, after Preeti's comment, that we are talking about structuring the training function, and the practices used in that are the names given to that one. Anybody like to comment? So then we talk theoretical framework, conceptual model, and the practices together.
Yeah, we have something called onboard training, and there onboard training, and there are certain specific tasks or specific areas. For example, prevention of sexual harassment, POSH.
Right.
Yeah, so this is a mandatory onboard training, and the second one is risk management. That is also one of the mandatory training, and the third one we call as anti-bribery and corruption. So these three will be part of onboard training.
So these
intellectual property also, like intellectual property, sign agreement, you have to sign, you have to
so
disclosure
four things you talked about, 4 training practices, which comes under the first structure of training and induction. If you have to make an Excel sheet, orientation, induction, these are the practices. Like you said, POSH, prevention of sexual, or whatever 3-4 points you discuss, which comes under the first point. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
Structure is orientation, induction. Practice is 4-5 you talked about it. Good point. Go ahead. Let us see whether any more structure we left out. Practices could be many for each structure, right? For the first orientation, you guys given 5. Can you repeat it again? One was POSH, intellectual property right. 2,
anti-bribery and corruption.
Anti-bribery and corruption. 3,
risk management.
And then intellectual property disclosures.
Intellectual property. Yeah. These 5 things you have taken it along with the training content of a orientation and induction program, right? So this could be your training content or a practice for the orientation and induction. This will come under definitely an orientation and induction. Yeah, obviously it can also be given as a refresher after a few years also, but essentially it is given at the orientation, right?
Professor, hi Professor Prashant there. So
yeah, Prashant.
The thing is telling about it's for our company, it's part of ad hoc, and everyone, if you are junior or senior or manager level, everyone have to go through this every year, and you have to complete within that. Other than that, if you not completed, your ID will be blocked. Such kind of thing is there from our end.
Good.
And other than that, this is part of internal, like as they said, the harassing the people, harassment and all this. Other than that, now come to the functional part, where the technology level, when we are checking, I mean when our parts come, so we have all the access like Udemy and other different kind of access. So what do we do? So those who need it, so he can directly go over there, and they can take the training. But for the certification purpose, what they do is once they complete the certification, from company itself, they provide the whatever the expenses we have made. So that also we have provided. So what they do is they link up with this with our performance. So this will improve our. So every year we have to give some inputs that we have learned this new skill. So this kind of parameter our company is to use. So it's part of all this you have mentioned, like orientation, current performance. So all this part of in our process,
whatever you said, these are the practices which comes under the improving the functional part of your training, right?
Yes.
This comes under the function. Like I said, now we have been talking
It started with the orientation and go through the functional. Yes.
Now the functionally, all of us, we have to take, in the gone are the days, we have to arrange a training program, call some trainer to come and give a delivery. Now they enabled it, linked it, aligned with various Udemy kind of organization, Coursera, Udemy, or where your organization itself reimbursing your fees, right? What is Coursera, Udemy? Basically, previously what you used to have, we have a different time, call an external trainer or internal trainer to come and deliver. So the training practice to improve the functional part of training is, like I said, we are learning a lot in this sector, structure and the training practices. For improving the functional one, the training practice here is aligning with Udemy or Coursera or something else and reimbursing so that the employees improves the knowledge part of the training by learning it, right? These are the training practices. This is what you want to try, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Third, 3 point we touched it. Yeah. What else? Now we are understanding, right? Training still needs to be, if this column is touched, suppose I'm a training director, HR director. If I touch all these 5, 6, I'm touching all these areas. Which are the practices I'm using? How it is effective? Then it becomes a more scientific kind of model, right? Otherwise, we are doing. It's not that we are not doing it, but it's easy for us to code it, document it, discuss it, analyze it, evaluate, and keep on improving. So that's what I'm keeping on telling. What is the structures of training function? And you could use n number of practices for each one. Okay. Anything else you like to add to the slide?
Professor, here, like in Bueller, we follow Bueller Learning. There is a website, intranet. There we can go through any of the product, and we can go in whether it is technical or managerial or leadership kind of. We have a pool of resources there, and anyone can enroll and have the training. So that is one good resource which I see here. Wherever individual lacks some skills, he can go into that, search for specific topics and go and learn there.
Correct. So it comes under the management development part of it, right? You want to allow each employee's potential can be exploited by providing a lot of training opportunities through their own website, through their own learning and development model available through various webinar or any other resources, right? So it comes under the dynamic, like C used the word dynamic, I use the word potential, full potential exploitation of each employee by providing a training opportunity. So which comes under your leadership training or managerial training or management development part of training, correct? Now, I hope you understand. So if you take it this kind of structural approach, you never forget. And tomorrow, if you happen to be a training director, first you audit, you take it. If I have to be a training director, taking any one of your company, I'll say, see, first in 1 day, 2 days itself, I'll just table everything. What kind of orientation we are doing, what kind of job improvement you are doing, what kind of supervisory leadership training, what are the issues which has come up, noticed it, training taken it or not taken, where are the success and problem is going the last 5 years, which talented position is going for issues, have you taken some training. The moment you start charting, the function becomes very challenging and interesting, and you will get a solution. The problem is, if you go to a doctor, giving a medicine is not a problem. You know, the medicine is a glossary of names, but diagnosing it is a problem, right? So similarly here, if the moment you structure it, then coming with the training practices or a solution, internal, external, online, offline, on the job, off the job, everything becomes equal. Okay, we would like to say something, or we can move on to the other one. 1 or 2 guys can talk anything on that, then we'll move on to that. So the point here is that the training needs to be structured. The training function needs to be structured. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 I've given. I'm not saying this is exhaustive. You add few more, or we'll cluster everything here. Then start examining each one, which are the practices each company has got it. Is that clear? Structuring the training function and the practices alienation is one part we are learning through this one. The question could be, what are the types of training? How many ways you can structure the training function in a generalistic manner? Okay, which are the training practices done to meet all those training functions structured in a different ways? That could be another way of looking at it. Is that clear, this slide, to all of you? Anybody like to add something, or we move to the other one?
We can move, Professor.
Okay, now it's clear. Now, what is the process? We understood the types of training. Now, after understanding the types of the training also, there is one model called Sheffield model or diagnostic approach to training. That talks about diagnosis, prescription, executing, and evaluation. What does it mean? When you go to a doctor like that, he tries to diagnose it. It's a malaria, it's a cold or virus or corona or whatever. Then only he starts giving prescription, right? Without diagnosing it, you cannot give prescription. Prescription could be injection or a medicine, it could be antibiotics. Execution is you are taking it, you're observing it, you're finding it improvement. Evaluation is that has it really improved? Has the patient responded it? If it's not responded, again you go back to diagnosis or you conclude it. Okay. Similarly, the training program has to have a structural model. It's called a Sheffield model. The Sheffield talks about diagnosis, prescription, execution. What is diagnosis? You start with first diagnosing the training needs. Okay, this is what I said. How many organizations have started documenting the training function, structuring the training function, or approaching the training function in a more professional, formal, scientific, consistent manner? Okay, everybody is doing it, but those things are also falling invariably into this category. But if you are a professional guy, if you talk that I'm going to be more on a conceptual model, I'm going to work on a model, things like that, you need to have this kind of approach. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys. Okay, now the training function need to be structured. First is diagnosis model. If I'm at this one, like first thing we talked about, you can write you can work out how many pages of report you can create. Like for each one, you can create one page, right? 9 pages can come only on this one. So then you come to the next one, you take training needs. First, one chapter you write on training need analysis. When you talk about training need analysis, for whom? For individual, for task, for ongoing, because of technology development, or because of the management development, because of the succession training, or it's a team created problem. So the first thing is you undertake a training need analysis for individual, for team, for group, for task, for organizational expansion. So that is how we start approaching the training in a diagnostic manner. So as I said, training can solve a training related problem, which means you have to start with a training need analysis. So first you undertake a training need analysis correctly. Then once you have a training need analysis, it will come into Excel sheet many for the induction training analysis, for various kinds of things. Then you start prescribing training. Somebody SOP training, somebody on the job training, somebody on the job training, somebody external training, somebody functional training. All those prescription will come into writing. Then you start executing. Execution is what? Like you are conducting on the job or off the job, or learning through Udemy, learning through Coursera, or you're rotating, job rotating, you are putting it some other level. So this all comes under the execution. Evaluation. So you've done everything. Training effectiveness have to be proved, right? Organization cannot spend money and time in the name of training without evaluating. How do you evaluate a training? How do you undertake a training need analysis? Like I said, where is the focus for training analysis? It could be individual, it could be group, it could be task, it could be management development. Similarly, evaluation has to be done. Now I want your comments on that. While I take water. Come on, guys. How do you go about undertaking training need analysis? What is the approach to training need analysis? Come on, I want your comments. You agree with me that we have to take a training need analysis? Do you agree with me or not?
Sir, we need to do the analysis.
Sir, in my organization, yeah, Wasim, please.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, continue, Aru.
Thanks. Sir, actually, in my organization, what we do once we give the training to the employees, and we'll just distribute a form to all the employees to what you learned from that is, and we'll ask them to give the rating for that. So based on that, we'll evaluate whether the training given is properly met as per the requirement, or is there a new changes has to be done in the future training. That's what we evaluate. Thank you.
Arun, you talked about evaluation. How do we talk about the diagnosis training internals? Like, for example, you can give a simple sheet along with the performance appraisal at the end of the year. What do you think your training need? That could be one way of assessing which are the areas you want to be trained, how you want to be trained. Could be one way of conducting a training need analysis. See, the evaluation is end part of it. The first part is training need analysis, which is diagnosis. So we talk next 5-10 minutes. How do you go about undertaking a training need analysis? All of you can answer it.
We can see the earlier failures of say projects, in which areas there were a lot more failures, and focus on those areas and list it out. So
very well, sir. Now since you have an approach, you are getting into problem, right? Straight. So yes. When I'm going to undertake a training, I'm an organization, I want to do training. Yes, I know it can be effective, it can be useful, but I don't want to do a college, education. I'm trying to give you guys education for the sake of giving education, right? I want to give a training which can be more effective in employee in performing the job effectively, right? So in organizing the organizational problems effectively by the employee's competencies. Correct. That's the difference between educating and training. Now, if that is the case, I need to have a training need analysis. So the training need analysis, you said correctly, I will go through last few years problems, production losses, attrition losses, or breakdown losses. So I will understand the problems, disadvantages, or issues, then try to cull out the training needs. Very good approach. Come on, go ahead. Then from that culling out, I need what are the individual training need, what are the group need, what is the task need, things like that. Very good approach. What else? Let us discuss about next 5-10 minutes how I can undertake a training need analysis. That is a starting point before I undertake any training calendar preparation. Otherwise, what we do is, based on our common sense, we prepare a training calendar. 10-15 calendars. By discussion with you or going by the practices, we'll come up with a training calendar. That's good. I'm not saying. But it cannot be as effective as like starting a training need analysis and then rolling out a training program through calendar. So now, if that is the case, I want you to comments on how do you go about undertaking a training need analysis.
So one more approach is for like project organizations. Yeah. We can take a count of how many project managers are there with a certification, because there is a lot of difference. A non-PMP graduate, PMP project manager handling a project versus a PMP project manager handling a project. Yeah. So by taking that census, we can take a list this is the training need for this group of people. We can identify from there.
So far we discussed suppose two approaches to undertake a training need analysis. The third approach is that simple is that you can take in writing from every employee during the performance cycle assessment once in 6 months or 1 year. What do they want the training needs? Okay, that's 3 approaches. I want us to conclude 10 approaches to conduct a training need analysis. So far we concluded only 3. Come on.
Yeah, after training, we wish to take the test for employees, and based on that we can rate their training and analyze their performance within 6 months. That's how we can do it.
So what you want to say, you combine both evaluation and training. You say that after the training also the employee goes on a performance, but still it is improved, not improved.
Right? But immediately. But sir, immediately after after taking the training, you can't score that training is effective or not, right? Correct.
Now, are you talking about training analysis or talking about training evaluation? We have not touched training evaluation. We are talking about only training needs. How do we go about undertaking a training needs analysis, determining the training needs? What are the methods you will use to determine the training needs? I hope all of us are on the same page right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Not the evaluation.
So another approach is, Professor, we can proactively identify the upcoming technology trends. Then we can start training people. It can be cloud, it can be cybersecurity, it can be artificial intelligence. So
this is the fifth level, fifth approach to training need analysis.
Right.
We have to conclude 10 before we move on.
We need to just brief about the practice what we follow in our organization. So ours is a product company, like a wind turbine, what we will be designing and developing. So here what we will do, initially anyways, we will be taking the experienced people who are well-versed knowledge about this product and all. So once we design a product and do some manufacturing drawings we'll be doing and send it for production. So from the production, we'll be getting some feedback also. So the feedback will be sometime like a positive feedback and negative feedback. So this negative feedbacks, like the areas of development, like people are little bit lacking behind in creating the drawings, or they'll be missing some technical information of the product. So these things will be taken care by quality check, like on lead will be there. He'll be collecting all the information, the feedbacks which is received by the manufacturing team, or might be he will be also self-evaluating the drawings or model, like whatever the model we will be creating. So at the end of quarter or a month, he'll be showcasing what are the areas of improvement which the team needs. So as per that, the manager will be planning. So these are the areas of improvement the team is needed. So these are the things you need to get the training. So he'll be organizing the trainings.
So Wasim covered 2-3 approaches. One is that operational issues, wherever the operation is not effective or giving some issues, that can give a cue for the training need analysis. Right, Wasim?
Yes,
One.
yes, sir.
He also said the quality department, quality assurance and QC department, why it is getting defective, more defective than the normal ranges. So that can also give us a clue for training. See, now why there are 6-7 approaches. Now are you understanding when I say that systematic, formal and things like that? At the end of the day, as I said, training is not education. I am not running an organization to educate you. So training has to be aligned to address my business operation related problem. Training has to be assigned to address my quality related problem. Training has to be assigned to get maximum production. Right? Within that angle, how I can train an individual, how I can train a group, how I can train a guy to take care of my success. This is the ambit, right? Are you getting right into the ambit or not? I hope you are getting my structural approach. Correct. If that is the case, I need to have a proper training need analysis. You already talked about 7-8, 1 or 2 training need approaches. So when I go into all those things, only I come to this conclusion. Yes, if I go through all those things, the acid test is yes, training is aligning to solving my organizational problems in terms of production improvement, in terms of quality improvement, in terms of wastage improvement, in terms of attrition improvement. So all those clues I have to get before as a training director. I cannot just simply take a training calendar based on what are the best training program conducted elsewhere else, or what is the current practices, come up and roll a training program. That could be one way of doing it. But when I meant the word all the time from the beginning, systematic, scientific, analytic, professional, formal, consistent, this is what I meant it. You guys are getting it now? Are you getting what I made it theoretically consistent, professional kind of words? So if you take these 5-10 approaches, then you will have a lot of programs coming out. Right? It could be classified into technical related training. It could be classified into team related training. It could be classified into managerial related training. It could be classified into customer related training. You know, the training could be many. So now, yeah, somebody wanted to say something. Go on. Somebody wanted to say something. I stopped in between. Or you stopped my flow, both ways. Please go ahead. Yeah, you are not saying. So once I get into that training need analysis based on the approaches I adopted, then it becomes professional. From the approach, I will be able to generate lot number of programs. That programs can get classified into different types of training. could be process improvement training, could be quality improvement training, probably team related training, probably customer improvement, customer centric training, probably risk related, probably the discipline related training. You know, many trainings will come out of these things. So all those things, when I did it, like a doctor diagnosed it correctly, then giving a prescription. Or like a quad doctor, fever, okay, you take paracetamol, take ampicillin. It coincidentally works. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it has not been done in a diagnostic manner. Are we clear? Are we clear with what I'm trying to say? All of you are?
Yes, Prof.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah. Okay, now training need analysis done. You conducted approaches through 10, 15 approaches. You collected information. You culled out the information. Based on that, you design a training program. And the training program is clubbed into various types of training. Now, how do you go about? No, you prescribed it based on the diagnosis. Now, execution. It could be on the job. It could be off the job. It can be conducted by the internal. It can be conducted by the external. Right? It could be through the Coursera. It could be through your Udemy. It could be rotation, job rotation, or you are sending the guy and to some other companies for to the vendor or anywhere for an exposure. So these are the different ways of executing training, not the only way of putting guys like a classroom and give a 1 hour, 2 hour lecture by me or X, Y, Z. That is not the end of the training. The execution of training based on the training needs and the prescription, the execution takes various forms. Yes, on the job, off the job, rotation, job enlargement, and sending a deputation, enrolling you for a course, putting you under a coach, specific coach. There are some guys, too good technical guys, experts, very bad in man management. So he needs some coach, external coach, psychologist to help him to come out of that. Otherwise, you are going to lose that guy as a good leader. He's too good in technology, but too bad in man management. Right? So the execution of training could be 10 ways. On the job, off the job, rotation, job enlargement, this thing, learning through various other courses, through specific coaches, psychologists. So various ways you do it. Okay, now you've done diagnosis part of it. You done prescribed it properly. You did execution properly. Now, how do you evaluate? I've done everything. But at the end of the day, I'm a businessman. I want to know, how does the training help it? Or you're doing training for the sake of, I given 10 crore rupees for training. I given a budget of 5 crore rupees, 10 crore rupees. I given so many structure, manpower, many hours. I've taken people from working and put for training. How is it effective? It needs to be evaluated, right? So how do we evaluate training effectiveness? Now I want your comments on that. How are you going to evaluate training effectiveness?
One way is through performance evaluation as part of PMS.
As a part of PMS, you'll get to know whether the guys improved it or not. So that's a very good way. Okay, one.
And instant evaluation will be like at the end of training, you will have a short question, say 5 to 10 questions, and understand.
You got right. That's second one. Yeah, correct. That's called immediate feedback taken after the end of the training. One, you talked about the performance after the training, whether it's a performance compared to last year, after the training improved it or not improved. To approach evaluation, very good. What else? I like somebody else also talk. Yeah, only Venkatesh is talking. Come on, guys.
Effectiveness of the job he or she performing post-training.
Post-training, how effectively, how happily is performing. Yeah. Effectiveness is one, and happily is performing is also two. Excellent. Two. What else?
Customer satisfaction feedback.
His employee satisfaction feedback is also an indication of whether the training has been effective. Okay, good.
That same person can train others in the team.
Whatever he will be, he has become so competent, he can train the other. He can become a train the trainer. Yes, good. He become a train the trainer. It's a good, your training is effective. Good, very good point. What else?
Check with the client or with the immediate supervisor on his performance.
Good, external report on clients. Very good point. External reports from the supervisor. Yeah, this guy started improving, doing very well. Yeah, compared to the now. or a customer or somebody external, yeah, his behavior changed a lot. He is very helpful in talking about the product and selling. Yes, very good. You talked about 7, 8 practice. Whatever you guys are talked about is a training evaluation practices. I'm using the word training evaluation practices because you are all my students. I want to understand everything with framework and conceptual model. As that, you know, I repeat in every class. Whatever you talked about 7, 8, training evaluation practices, not the model. Model I'm going to teach you. Okay, go ahead with your practices. You talked about 7, 8 practices. Come on, guys.
How fast the project is executed compared to the previous training?
Good.
Time taken.
It's a good practice. Yeah, you after the training, well-trained people, the projected time is how easily, how in time executed. You're all talking about good practices and illustrations. I'm using the word practices in illustration. It is not a framework. It's not a model. I will tell you the model. In the 4-word model, all your 10, 15 will come in. Come on, go ahead. Now you come up with all your practices or illustration, how training effect evaluation is being undertaken as per your experience in many organizations or in your own organization.
Asking for customer satisfaction surveys online.
Good. Customer service certificate also can give an indication to what extent these guys are customer centric, especially after the customer centric training given. Good. Very good. Come on, you are learning training and development in a more professional manner, let me tell you. Theory as well as practice, structure as well as practice and illustrations. Come on, next. Okay, now I will tell you one small model. All of you go through, all of you have a mobile, right? Go through that. I give you 5 minutes, come back. Kirkpatrick's training evaluation model. Kirkpatrick's training evaluation model. This is the word. Can you see that? K-I-K-R-K Patrick model.
Yes, Professor.
Yeah, just go through it 5 minutes and talk to me. Whatever illustration practices you talk will probably come here. That's what I meant. My students have to learn model, framework. Just read and think about the illustration and practice we talked about for the 5 minutes and come back. By 3:10, I'll give you a break. We'll complete this one and then I'll give you a break. Once you are ready, please let me know. Huh? Just you'd given a lot of illustrations and examples how training is being evaluated. I given you one good model, Kirkpatrick's model, which is 4-word, which to a large extent, whatever you said will come under that one. Yes or no, how this model is relevant, I want your comments to that. Because as I said, I want you to understand the model and framework to undertake the training evaluation.
Yes, Professor.
Yes, if people are ready, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Basically, it talks about the 4 levels in this model. Level 1 is the reaction level, then learning, then behavior, then results. So I can correlate whatever we discussed with each level, like reaction, the degree to which participants find the training favorable, engaging, and relevant to their jobs.
Right. That is immediately what we do. It comes under the reaction part.
Yeah. And learning is what we acquire in each training and how we get confidence, how we increase our confidence from the training. Right. So that is part of learning. And behavioral part is as an outcome of training, how our behavior changes, that talks about it. And result part is post training, how the results are improved.
Yeah, that's ultimate one also, right?
Yes.
Maybe through whatever external, internal, anyhow, good, well concluded. So this model takes care of in a comprehensive manner everything, right, Venkatesh?
Yes.
Comprehensively, it takes care of many things. If you remember to use this model as a checklist, you will not miss many things, right?
Yes, it covers what is required, and if that is taken care, what are the results we get?
Yeah. Okay, somebody else. Priti, you are trying to say something.
Yes, Professor. I was saying, I mean, almost Venkatesh covered all the points.
Yeah.
So it's the same model of defining 4 evaluation metrics. First one is the reaction, how the person responds to the training, and then how he actively uses that training in his work, and how the how the organization is benefited from this training, how productive the person has become now. So those are covered using. We can evaluate one person's result after the training is completed using this model.
So whatever we discussed, 10, 12 examples or illustration, does it get covered under this 4 or not?
Yes, Professor.
By and large, right? By and large, it gets by and large. So what I'm trying to say is that training effectiveness needs to be assessed. No businessman would like to invest on money unless you conclude a document, return on the investment in terms of manpower, in terms of money, how in all the 4 levels. Then if you are a managing director, a CEO or a board of director, if the training department submits that kind of report, so the training department gets more respect, more power. Okay. Now, what are the way, where all we can get the training evaluation records? Like you said, production reports, absenteeism reports, accident reports, complaint reports. All this, there are 100 ways you collect the reports and see the improvement, which will take care of your result part of it. Right? So reaction is immediately after the training is conducted, how one felt that training and all. Learning is how is zoned. So anybody like to talk on this? I hope you are all clear. Other than Priti and Venkatesh, anybody like to add or modify or say, no, there are many other ways, different ways of doing it. According to me, it's to a large extent comprehensive, concise model, which is implemented properly by understanding your training evaluation is taken in a professional, consistent manner. Anybody would like to reflect or modify, say something? Other than Priti and Venkatesh. Come on, guys. Talk about few minutes, then I'll give you a break. Now,
I think it gives.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Sorry. I think it gives 5 points. What is the 4 levels?
Yes.
So was the presentation engaged? The presentation was engaged, and did you feel the training was worth your time that gives? And again, can you apply what you learned to your job?
Right.
And did you like the style and method of the training? That is one. And what did you change or improve for the future training? These 5 points, what we can, it will evaluate. That's what I feel.
Yeah, good point. So you are trying to give some more model. Just repeat, Arun.
Yeah, I think by the training we can evaluate that was the presentation engaging, and did you feel the training was worth your time, and can you apply what you learned to your job, and did you like the style and style or method of training, and what would you change or improve for future training?
This all comes under the reaction level itself. The first part of it itself is covered.
Yeah, this all comes under the reaction.
The first part itself is covered.
Yeah, the reaction, learning, behavior, and results.
Yeah. Good. What else? Anybody else like to say something? So what did we learn so far? The last 2 hours. Training is very critical. Training function is important. Provided training is taken in a professional manner. Training can solve a lot of training related problem. Incidentally, many things are training related problem, but training cannot solve not a training related problem. If it is an attitude or managerial problem, training cannot solve. But by and large, training function need to be structured professionally. For structuring, first of all, there is a need for need analysis. So need analysis, there is a model called Sheffield model: diagnosis, prescription, implementation, evaluation. In that, first diagnosis needs a lot of approach: individual need analysis, organization need analysis, task need analysis, technology need analysis, future need analysis. For each one, you can use different methods. If you do that, your prescription part becomes easy. You don't copy paste up a training program here and there, or based on Mr. Noel, I know this program has to be given. You design a program, design a calendar based on your own analysis. Okay, then you are executing it through online. Once you know this thing, you know how to execute also better. Can that program be more effective online, on the job, or off the job, or simply the guy goes for a learning through Udemy, or a job rotation, or goes works with the vendor? So then finally, when you are doing an evaluation through all the 4, then documenting all those things systematically, then the evaluation will also give if it is not done properly, it will give an input for diagnosis part of it. So if you do, so the evaluation needs a model. The model could be many model. The one model which I included is very, very comprehensive: Kirkpatrick's model of reaction, learning, behavior, and output. So if you do all those things, then we can say training function is undertaken in a professional, consistent manner, not just a informal, ad hoc manner, which also may be doing many things, what we are talking, but it's not in a systematic manner. This is what we picked up so far, right? Have we concluded whatever we learned today? Or anything we left out? This slide is covered it. What is the next slide? Prescription, we already covered it. Customer centric, self orientation, whatever. Execution, we already covered it. Have we or not? Without going through the slide only, you covered many things. Yeah. This part we covered it now. Right? Management development, I told you initially. Management is developed a little more broader, more strategic, more potential assessment. I want Arun, for example. He is working as a technology head, but I could see that he could be he can take a bigger role, strategic role, a leadership role. No, but he himself doesn't know. But I know as a boss, but the company needs it. So how do you assess his potential assessment? How do you assess his competency assessment? Then accordingly, I look for a long-term development. So once after the break, I'll teach you about this management development. And there is another approach to call OD approach to this one. Okay. So far the training and function is clear to all of you guys, right?
Yes,
correct?
Professor.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You take this 2:56 in my watch. 3:10, we'll come back. Done? You take a break, we'll come back 3:10.
Yeah. डेफिनेटली को 3 बार लिख करके बोल रहे उसे बोले सा कर्मा सॉरी
Scream, right? What do you want them to say about you?
Okay, guys, I'm back. All of you ready?
Sir.
Ready? Can we start? Any conclusion you want to talk on the so far whatever we talked, or everything is clear? We'll go to the next. There's one concept called OD, organizational development, which is becoming very popular. Somebody must have heard about it. What is OD? I want to teach you on OD about it. Anything on the previous discussion? Can you move on, or you want to ask anything on the whatever we discussed now, the first session?
We can move on.
Okay. Now, what is OD? What did you people heard about the word OD? Are you hearing the word OD? Organizational development. Some organization they have a different department called OD department. Have you heard about the word OD? No, right? Okay, I'll tell you the background. The background is OD is called organizational development. What they come up with is that it's basically based on action research. What is research? Tell me what is research. You want to conclude something. You know, suppose the cars with red color, the range of 7 to 8 lakh rupees being sold in Bangalore. How do you conclude that from? What is research? Research is what? You work out a statement, you collect a data, tabulate a data, analyze the data, then you empirically conclude the data to say that the statement is right? Instead of saying that, yes, most of the people in Bangalore, they like to buy red color car around 7 to 8 lakh rupees. No, you will take a data, then come to the conclusion, no, the people in Bangalore who are getting a salary of around 10 to 12 lakh rupees, CTC, are more likely to buy a car worth of 6 to 7 lakh rupees with red color in the range of I-10 or something like that. That is called research, right? Action research means you have a hypothetical statement. That hypothetical statement you try to prove by collecting a data, analyzing a data, using a statistical tool and prove. That is called research. So in Modi, there's a concept called action research. Action research means, suppose in the factory, there is a lot of breakdowns in the nights, number one. What do you do? Or a lot of wastage of material in the nights. What do you do? Suppose you are a managing director, you are a chairman of the company or a CEO of the company. There's a plant president or vice president, and you're noticing the review meeting. Every year, every month, you are losing heavily on account of wastage of raw material or machine not being used properly or some accidents taking place. How will you handle this issue? Tell me. You understood the problem, right? The problem is in your factory, mostly in the night shift, a lot of breakdowns, a lot of wastage of raw material, a lot of related such issues. How will you handle that issue? Come on. That is what the OD approaches. I'll tell you how to handle it. Tell me, how will you handle the situation? What could be the approach? Just tell me.
We'll collect the data. We'll collect the data, okay. And we will analyze the data. Then from the analysis, we will come to know particularly on which week or on which day we had an issue on which machine. And then we can go to that particular machine and see what is wrong with that machine when compared to the other machine. That way we can capture the data and come to some conclusion that yes, this may be the root cause for.
That's a problem solving approach. That's a simple problem solving approach you'll go through. Okay, fair enough. Well, very good. Anybody else? What Venkatesh talked about is a simple problem solving approach. To have an approach to that problem, define the problem, collect the data and solve the problem. That's called defining the problem, collecting the data, analyzing and solving the problem. That's one approach. What else?
We need to first inspect. First, we need to inspect what is going wrong, whether it is really the machine problem or it's a people problem, like whether the people are really trying to escape from the night shift and fixing something, or it's really a machine issues, whether the really machine is getting shut down in the night shifts or something. Right, we have to identify the problem first.
Correct. And how will you do that? Whatever you said, how will you do it? You said, how will you do that exercise?
So we need to have a frequent inspection in the nights, like might be like a manager or floor manager or someone. He need to inspect the frequently, and he need to check, walk around on the floor. I need to see whether everything is working fine. If not, then he need to keep the things ready so that he can implement on the spot, on the go, or something like that.
Okay. Another approach is, Professor, we can form a task force who can, where we can define certain parameters to be captured at certain intervals. And once we have the data points, we can sit together and ask for the recommendations and proactive and reactive actions that can be taken care to improve the situation.
Okay, very good. Good point. What else?
Sir, adding to Wasim's what he said, I feel that when it's not happening in the day, it's happening only in the night. The breakdowns are happening in the night. So mainly, it's not any technical deficiency. It's a deficiency in the team who are managing in the night, and the supervision has to be done on the entire team, the frequent supervision, and we have to identify. It's a manpower problem. It's not a technical issues. So by supervising, we can be able to identify what went wrong and who is doing wrong. Then that's one of the methods I feel.
Okay. This again, like we discussed, we are all talking about the practices, illustration, and things like that. Now we need to understand what could be the approach, what could be the model. Okay, that is what we are coming to OD method. Anybody else like to say something? These are the normal practices. One will do it in a more common sense manner. Okay, or based on your so-called experience. What is the professional framework kind of method we are going to teach, which I'll tell you. Now tell me, whatever illustration, how will you do it? There are 2-3 approaches. So Venkatesh said problem solving approach. Somebody said deep gathering information and then trying to find out it's a machine problem or a man problem. Again related to probing the problem occurred. What else? Any other way?
Organization development.
Okay, I'll tell you. Normally there are, if I am a chairman, I am a CEO sitting in a corporate office. There's a plant president and he has got all GM production, GM supply chain, CMHR and everybody else. What will I do? I'll get angry. I'll tell the plant in charge, who's the president or whoever, to issue charge sheet, find out, take action, why this happened, what happened. That command and control will come. Right or not? I will not be keep sitting and watching and trying to analyze, right? I will immediately get into the action, command and control, ask the president or president himself on his own. He will call the plant in charge or GM production or everybody, why happened, what happened. We will go into command and control or charge it some of the production supervisors. All those things will happen. Correct or not? Yes or no? Mostly 40% of the time this takes place. Yes or not? Tell me.
Yes, Professor.
Either the plant manager himself or directed by the top office to take action. They'll take action on command and control, finding fault and issuing that you have not done it, I have not done it. All those things will come. That is the one approach normally done. Yes or no? You can call this approach command and control. Okay.
Yeah.
This is done normally, yes or not? To a large extent. Yeah. Now
Yes,
the
Professor.
OD approach, yeah, the OD approach doesn't belong to this approach, which we call it command and control. Okay. Command and control. OD approach says whenever problem happens, they want to go through the action research method, not the command and control method. Command and control method, all of you know, most of the organization, even big organization, I noticed it, without even getting into detail, they'll go and sack somebody who's not at all accountable. All those things happen. So the OD approach says it's an action research, not the command and control. So it based on, like I mentioned, that unfreeze whatever we know. Let's freeze and refreeze. Meaning by, suppose in the same example happens, what will happen? The OD approach means there are some process. There has to be somebody who's expert in OD. Okay. It could be your own in-plant HR guy or somebody from outside. Or your own plant president himself is an OD guy who believes in that one. What he will do, he will immediately call all the clients, OD clients. OD clients could be who here? GM production, GM supply chain, GM HR, maybe some of the production supervisors or XRVs. Those are the people who are directly concerned with the incident happening. Getting my point or not? There is a OD in charge. The OD in charge could be a professional from outside, or the HR guy itself is a trained OD guy, or the plant president is also having a OD training. So number one. Number two, they will call all the clients who are involved in this incident. Clients, I mean, not from outside, inside. It could be GM production, could be GM HR, could be CM supply chain or GM store, or could be the union people. So 5-10 people he will call, all those clients. Second. The third, the process is going to be diagnostic, not command and control, or action research, collecting data from these people in a very cordial manner. Tell each one of you what happened. What is the reason for that? You know, it could be, you said it could be machine, it could be man problem, it could be even supply, your raw material itself has come wrong. Okay, or it could be less manpower, competent, skilled manpower available. So when you sit with all those people in an action research manner, in a diagnostic manner, all those people will list down could be 10 problems. The raw material this time has come bad. So there is a lot of rejection of material, which is also creating problem for the machine. Or this particular 2 days, a lot of absenteeism due to some local Gujarati function or North Indian function or whatever call it. Or as such in the night, we don't have a trained machine operator. Or the GM production and people don't come for a proper supervision. You know, it could be 10 number of problems. So if you put them properly, not taking away from the command and control straight away, putting them in a diagnostic research-oriented problem, they list them. Could be 10 issues they list them, hypothetically. That's what I use the word hypothetically list them. Machine not working, or this particular machine bearing is giving a problem, or the manpower is not there, or competent manpower is not there, the raw material itself was not there, or night light shifts are not there, or night the workers go for a change over the shift between 12 o'clock for the food and all, they come late, or that handing over takes late. Like that, list down 10, 15 problems. Now, do you think that the moment you list down a problem, are you towards more in a constructive way to solve a problem or not? I want you to stop here and then go further. Have you understood what I said first? It is not command and control. It's a diagnostic approach, action research oriented approach, 1. 2, the concerned man will call all the concerned clients, could be all these 5-10 people, and then ask them to list out what probable hypothetical reasons could be there for that. Okay. This is the 3rd step. The 4th step is that then they have a brainstorming discussion. So 1 is that you have an action design, you have a diagnostic approach, then put together in a team, then collect the data, then they have a brainstorming among themselves. Out of 10, after the discussion, they come down to 3 or 4. This 3, 4 could be the reasons for this kind of issues. Okay. Then in the 3, 4 things, people come to plan, which is training related problem. Maybe the manpower is related to training related problem, or we need to bring in extra people, or the problem was with the raw material itself is coming. So they come up. So then 5th is they conduct a lot of training for these people, how to go about in future solve a problem like this. Okay, so that is what we call unfreeze, freeze, and refreeze. How to solve a problem in future. So it becomes a continuing exercise to approach a problem, not from a direct command and control problem solving approach, in a diagnostic, research oriented, create a hypothetical statement using a problem, collect the data, use a brainstorming session, and come to cull out the what could actually be the cause and effect for the problem. What could be kappa? What could have been corrected? What could have been prevented? Kappa, corrective action, preventive action. What can come out of corrective action? What can come out of preventive action? And in future also, how can you have an ongoing exercise of OD exercise? This is what exactly called OD. So 1, the technical words are action design. The technical words is unfreeze, freeze, and refreeze. The technical word is it's a diagnostic approach. The technical word is it's not a command and control. It's a probing. It's a problem solving in an amicable brainstorming session. Is it clear to all of you guys? Have you understood? I want somebody to summarize.
Professor, this approach is also more or less a problem solving kind.
OD is a problem solving approach. What is a problem solving approach?
The difference I see here is here we are involving the key stakeholders, all key stakeholders, not with respect to particular individual.
Normally one could have gone and fired the GM production, right? He's responsible for production. With this, you will come to know probably that your raw material has come last time was not good. Possible, right? Or it could be a problem with the GMHR, which I've seen practically in Ahmedabad plant during the Dasara festival and all. No, the machine operators will not come in the night shift. When you need 40 operators, when you have 10 operators, how will you handle it? Or because the corporate office has put a stigma, you cannot recruit any more people. You need 50 operators, you have only 30 operators. Out of 30 operators, 10 guys that takes leave to help everybody to take a double overtime. This happened in front of me. You're getting my point. So then you will get to know what is the advantage. The solution is long lasting, very effective. The future problems will be eliminated to a large extent. It's very cordial. Are you getting my point, all of you? So this is being practiced as a training. So how it is relevant to training? The training department help in structuring the OD department. The training department has to help the people, whether the plant in charge or HR people, to go the training in how to conduct a OD exercise. The training people should be able to help the brainstorming amongst the stakeholder to come to a problem. Okay. Then after this, one more exercise out of this OD exercises, conducting some training. The supervisor needed training. The OD exercise says that the plant foreman and all needed some supervisory training. Out of this OD exercise, you got to know training need analysis. In the training need analysis, you come and start working on the training or conducting training for the supervisor. So this is what the OD method of training and development. Is it clear to all of you? Anybody like to summarize? Or can you take 1 or 2 new examples and then working on that? Come on, I want one of you to summarize. Priti, you are there. Priti Nayak. Hello, please explain somebody. Priti, you are there? You're not there. Okay, anybody?
Yeah, this is the action research oriented approach where we call up the core team, core department heads, and have a diagnostic approach, hearing their reasons, what might have gone wrong for a particular issue. So we sum up all those individuals' comments, and from there we arrive at a common point, which may be the cause for that situation, and we work with that approach to find out the root cause and take an action. So with this approach, we are taking a collaborative decision with all the key stakeholders, and everyone is aware of the problem and root cause and how it can be eliminated.
Very, very well summarized, Venkatesh. How many organizations are doing this kind of approach in your own experience? Will you recommend this?
I have seen, sir, in previous organization, current organization, whenever there is an issue, it will be discussed at top management level. So that shows the importance.
Right.
Like we call it, for example, there is a site issue. So we raise a service request. This service request will be reviewed at management level, and any service request, it has to be addressed within a day, whether what we are going to do. So that gives the importance of how the problems are taken and improvement actions were implemented. So I mean, as an organization, top management is also involved in that.
Good. Very good. Anybody else like to say something about it?
I want to give some example.
Please go with a new example. Yeah.
Yeah. So same thing I will relate here, like my wind turbine business. So here, sometimes failure occurs or accidents occurs at the site after the erection of the wind turbine during the working thing. So few people will go inside for servicing, for commissioning activity, or for example, for commissioning of the turbine, they'll be entering inside the turbine. The turbine stands almost like 100 meters above the ground, or sometimes in the sea level also, in the sea level 100 meters or 150 meters above the sea level. So the people going inside, sometimes they'll be accidentally died because of some electric shocks, or maybe they'll be falling down without having any shackles attached, and they need to anchor themselves when they're doing some servicing activity. So there will be several accidents occurring sometimes. So what you will do, and when these kinds of accidents will occur, so people will list down what is a cause for the accident, like whether it is it's a human ignorance, might be the person who was working, or that it's his mistake, or it's a product mistake. Product which has been developed is not up to the EHS point, like a health and safety point. They are not considered the things when they are designing the product. So these two things they will consider, and they will come up with the problem statements, like where and all the errors have been come up, like whether it is in a shop floor or whether it is a design team, who is responsible for this one. So all the stakeholders will be involving here. It's from the shop floor, from the design team, from the shop floor team, from the manufacturing team, and the commissioning team. So all the people who are responsible for the erection of the turbine, from design to development, so everyone will be involved here. So, and then they will be concluding which part it has been gone mistake, whether it is a commissioning part, they're not taken any care. So the commissioning people need to take relevant action in the upcoming turbines, or might be in the design side. Design failure is there because the person who is designing that component has not taken care of EHS part, like a safety part of the person. Whenever we design some component, we need to consider the safety is important thing. So we need to manufacture a part or design a part in such a way it should not have any failure, or it should not take a person's life. So this points and all will come forward there, and then they will be generating the ECNs, like engineering change notice, who is responsible for that. that will be the solution part, like how the solutions can be, how the product can be changed or design can be changed. So later it will be drilled down to last level, who is design team or something, if it is responsible from the design team. So it will be drilled down to the last level, and then again reiteration of the design will happen. Again, the testing of the component will be done, and then again the replacement of the component in the future turbines will be done. So likewise, from top to bottom and bottom to top, it is interrelated.
Good, great. So many of the organizations, they started using OD technique, maybe not in the name of OD, but they are using it. Correct.
Yes.
It's
yes.
not exactly command and control. It's a diagnostic action research oriented method. And from our training part of view, the training department should always encourage OD culture in the organization. And they should train the concerned people to be having that OD approach. They should talk about the brainstorming. They should also help in understanding the various change management concept. That's it. Any questions on that? Can you move on? So the training and development, we covered it a lot. Which are the good institutions which is providing training and development diploma? If some of you want to be specializing in training and development, where will you do it? There is an organization called ISTD, Indian Society for Training and Development. Have you heard about it? It's a very old organization and very effective training programs. And parallel to that in the US is called American Society for Training and Development. Whenever you want to read any number of articles, please refer to the ISTD or ASTD articles. Okay. So anything on that before that, then we can start talking about the PMS today. Any questions anybody wants on training and development? The question could be training need analysis, training evaluation method, importance of training, the training process assessment, OD approach to training. You know, these are the kind of questions which can come. So last time somebody has written some questions, no possible question. Who has written the class?
I think it's me, sir. I need to send it. Yeah, I forgot. That's why I just doing it now.
Can you order these questions and all send it to me?
Yeah.
Whatever I said, you order this also to that and share with all your friends.
Yes.
So that I can take out questions only from that. Then again, don't come to me, sir, what are the possible questions? The questions will come from here only. Last time we generated around 15, 16 questions, right?
20.
20. You order this thing, whatever I raised it now.
Okay. Training development.
Training and development. What is training and analysis? What is Kirkpatrick's evaluation method? What is OD exercise? What is Sheffield model of training? What is training process? So that recaptures our learning also, and you are also ready for the exam. And before I thought we'll talk about PMS. Any discussion about the second assignment? All of you uploaded. How is it?
Yeah,
any clarification or doubt on that?
No, Professor, we uploaded.
All of you uploaded it. Was it been a useful exercise, or have you applied your mind, or just copy pasted? You could not have copy pasted, right?
No, it was useful, Professor. Like we haven't heard about job analysis in our career. Okay. So we, after going through some learnings, we understood how a job analysis part is drafted from the HR part.
Point of view, right?
Yeah.
No, plus you written the whole, each one of you on one position, right? KRA, KP, job analysis, everything you written.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Each group has done separate.
So while writing it, it was not copying from somewhere else. It needed a lot of your own thinking, right?
Yeah, because each group has different titles, and each title has its own kind of job nature.
Yeah. No, but was it a lot of your own contribution, a lot of only the browsing the internet and getting? I suppose a lot of your own contribution also needed that, right?
No, based on experience, we
We
have
need to
done.
understand the concept. We need to understand the
Okay.
concept because we have chosen some different industry like a business development, software,
Right. So
other like logistics. So we need to relate with that industries. So we need to work on that.
Okay. I'll request some of you can compile it into one folder and send it to me. We can think of even publishing it. Or for future students, it will be helpful. Because such information is not easily available on the internet. Am I right? Okay. Now we'll talk about this one. PMS.
So grading for assignment 1.
March. I'll give it to you by tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, I'll give it. I already done it, but I didn't enter any of this thing. Such a long, lengthy job here.
Okay.
Someone of you should help me out, entering all those things. Anyway, I'll do it.
Yeah, we can do that. We can help you.
Thank you. So now we get into the next topic. What is the next topic you want to talk about? Compliance or PMS system? I'm ready for both.
I think PMS we can do because it will be correlated with this
training and development.
Training and development.
Okay. Now tell me about PMS. What do you know about PMS? Come on, guys. Let's talk about PMS.
So it's about.
It's a very lengthy. We'll go into our own. Yeah.
It's about how in an organization the employee performance management system is done.
Okay.
Yeah, in some organizations it is done through online, and they have the goals set for the particular period, and it will be reviewed at a definite interval, say 3 months, 6 months, and end of year basis. So in the at the beginning they will set the goals. Goals can be individual goals, organization goals, with respect to person's attitude, behavior, and how it is measured. What are the ways in which it will be measured? So everything will be predefined, and it will be evaluated.
Okay, now we will discuss this thing in 3-4 levels. One of my colleagues prepared a very lengthy PPT, which I'll share it with you. Very, very lengthy, more than 100 slides. He's done very well, but we'll not go that route. What Venkatesh started talking about is performance management process. That is what we will go through 4-5 steps. One is, what is performance appraisal? What is evaluation? What is today? Okay. Then we'll go to what is performance process. Then we'll go to what are the performance practices. Okay. Then fourth, we'll go to how it can be aligned with the strategic growth of the company. Only 5 points we'll discuss. Is that right? Please correct me if I'm not wrong. One is that we'll talk about where does this word performance appraisal has come from? What is the evolutionary growth? Where are we today? Okay. What is performance appraisal? Everybody, it's not today, maybe even 100 years back also, people wanted to assess the performance of the people or the outcome or everything. Maybe they did it in a traditional method of at the end of the year, they had a small format like quantity of work, quality of work, absenteeism, loyalty, and things like that, tick, which I've seen it 30, 40 years back when I was at the middle level. When I've seen that 20 years back, the organization used to do that kind of appraisal. That is why they use the word called performance appraisal. It started, there was some sort of appraisal. The appraisal then was in a incessant stage of quantity of output, quality of output, things like that. So what was the outcome of that? At the end, after the completion of 1 year, it was like a sort of postmortem. You know that why has done it. 2, 3 done by, suppose I am assessor, I am the Mr. Nuwal. Arun is my employer, anything. I don't bother about Arun. Arun doesn't have any implication on how he is going to be affected. So I will assess on Arun as a postmortem after the year without any reference to Arun, and then I'll give whatever I feel like. This was the performance appraisal system. existed first. So this is what people used to call appraisal. Appraisal means appraising somebody after the end of the year by the boss with or with less reference to the employee, or appraising based on his own judgment on some certain parameters like quantity, quality, loyalty, and things like that. So the system was there. Obviously, the system had a lot of some benefits, a lot of disadvantages. Benefits could be some sort of assessment was taking place. Otherwise, it could have gone without any assessment at all. Disadvantage means it was not fair, it was not smart, it was not measured in a scientific manner, or it was like a postmortem, positive approach towards an organization. His attitude towards organization is to go bad. Performance appraisal means it's like a nightmare. Oh, these guys will come and say something, they will be nasty, they will give me something, they'll not give me something. So the performance appraisal was not development oriented, it was control oriented, it was not positive, it was not only creating a sort of insecurity, it was not serving a purpose to a large extent, either to the organization or to the employee. To some extent, some sort of measurement was taking place. This is what we call performance appraisal. So every system has to go through the evolution process. Then we got into the concept called performance management. Performance appraisal system is clear to all of you guys. So now the next step has come is performance management. Performance management is basically planning the performance management, meaning by it has to be done mutually, the employee and everybody else. Even the performance management also gone through two levels. The current level is like what you did last time, when you are setting a KRA, KP and all. When it's mutually done, then performance management process takes place afterwards. Then it is called performance planning mutually, performance measuring, performance feedback given, and then performance managed. This is the latest of it, the third part of it. The second part of it, they come to the performance management. There was some sort of self-appraisal given by employee, or some sort of mutual discussion took place, and then performance management of your last year done either by you or by all those things. But that again, lot of version improvement over appraisal, but it was not a complete foolproof. Now the current one, which I would like to recommend, are many organizations knowingly, unknowingly, are invariably getting into that. Performance planning, I use the word performance planning, performance measuring, performance feedback given, then managing it. What does it mean? The performance management system should start with the performance planning. How do you do performance planning? You start fixing the mutually KRA, KPI. Suppose the assessment has to take place April. Then the last April to this March, before last January itself, there should have been a mutual discussion between the appraiser, appraisee, employee and his boss and all concerned. Then they should have documented that KRA, mutually agreed, smart KRA, KPI should have been planned. That's what I call planned performance planning. Once it is done, to a large extent, both of you are clear. Not that at the end of the year, you are doing a post-mortem exercise or employees at last. Employees equally responsible because you agreed to that particular kind of point, provided that KRA, KPI setting is done in a mutual democratic manner. If it is done in a, again, arbitrary manner, again, it doesn't serve the purpose. But one hopes it is done in a democratic manner. Okay, if that is done, the first part of performance planning is done. Then the second part is that it is not that reviewed at the end of the year. Every quarterly, it is reviewed. Then the feedback is given, or even KRA, KPI is modified. Reason being, there could be some external changes, or what both of them they planned, it is not exactly the right information. So they try to change that. That is what I said, performance planning first stage, then performance feedback measurement after 3 months or 2 months, not after the end of the year, then giving the feedback, then realigning the performance KRA, KPI. Okay. Now, then finally it comes to at the end of the year, you are managing the performance. So you planned it, you had a meeting, you given a feedback, you measured it through scorecard. Then again, when you have a performance by KRA, KPI, obviously your smart dashboard and everything will come up. Then based on that, you have a performance management. Now, how will you do the performance management process? Assessment, that's a different. So this is the first stage, performance appraisal system, how it evolved in India, practically. Okay. It was a performance appraisal system. It had some sort of Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Okay. So this is the first concept of how this concept of performance appraisal, performance management evolved, and what is the stage today. If you have a good performance system, means what I said, it should be that performance planning mutually, performance review, performance feedback, then performance management, then how it has to be done, that's a different part of. This is the evolution of performance management. Everybody clear with that? Or do you like to say something on that? The question could be, what is the difference between appraisal and performance management? The dimension of learning. What is the difference between performance appraisal, performance management? Why do you think that performance management is important? Now that will come into. Now, how do you think that the scientific performance management system should be structured? Is it clear to all of you? Anybody like to summarize what I said? Come on, other than Venkatesh, I want somebody to summarize. If nobody's left out, Venkatesh will come. There are 70 guys. Come on, I'm not going to go further unless you summarize what I said. I said only 5-6 concepts I'll give you on that. Though the slide is 169 slide, which anybody wants to do specialization in PMS can do it. But I will explain to you in only 5 models, 5 approaches. Okay, now first thing I told you, the evolution of performance management system as on today in India. Come on. Now we also got into online management and things like that. Come on, anybody summarize it? Come on, guys, I'm waiting. Bhaskar, Priti Nair, somebody was talking. Overall, there are lot many people are there here. Why don't you talk here? Come on. Come on, guys.
Yeah, shall I?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, evolution in sense, initially a performance evaluation was like it's a person oriented, if we say. It started in that way, but it was not working well, like it is not meeting the organization objectives. So slowly it improved, and with the current scenario, we can see performance management system has 4 levels. So first level will be the performance planning, which is mutually done between the employee and his line manager. And once they agree, it will be set, and there will be a review system, say 3 months or 6 months once, and it will be reviewed and measured. That will be the second level. And the third level will be the feedback. Feedback in sense whether whatever the goals set, whether it is meeting the organization objectives, any changes required. So that realignment will be done during the feedback session. So once this is done, the final will be recorded, and this is how the performance is managed in the current scenario.
Great. So this is the definition and evolution of performance management. Now the second concept is, what is the objective? What is the purpose of performance management? Why we need a performance?
No, the main objective will be it should meet the organization goal. There should be some improvement year on year. Improvement, like it is well said in the slide which is shown. It is not only for the employee, it is for the company as a whole. There should be some improvement.
So the objective and performance or purpose of the performance management is obviously to achieve the organizational goals, corporate planning, budgeted, all those things. So that has to be cascaded down one side. The performance of everything in terms of budget, in terms of corporate planning, in terms of the task, in terms of the goals have to be achieved, planned. So performance planning cascading will take place from top down to bottom to breakdown. One. At the same time, it should also be individually concerned. The performance management should take care of the individual interest, fixing your roles and goals and everything which an individual can perform or is potentially capable to perform, or you are giving extreme important training to guide to perform, or your process is foolproof. So the performance management objective is that two-sided. One, while driving to have the organizational effectiveness or the organizational profitability or productivity through employee productivity, through employee effectiveness. So that means the performance management should take care of a twin approach. That is the object. So finally, performance management should end up individual's growth, individual's effectiveness, which leads to organizational objective. Both put together should be able to achieve the budgeted goals, strategic goals, all those kind of things, which means it has to be cascaded down from the budgeted, from the corporate planning, the assigned goals and everything will come down to function to department to individual. So that is the purpose and objective of performance management. So it should be fun loving. It cannot be a post-mortem exercise. So the performance objective should be 3. 1, to achieve that one, to take care of the individual one. 3, the process should be done in such a way it is loved and being effectively implemented with effortless use by all the people. So these should be the 3 objectives of the performance appraisal. Anybody like to add anything more? 2 points. I'll just, as I told you, I'll give you only 5-6 points. Anybody? And this slide says, when you are going to assess the performance of whom? Employee, department, process, plant, machinery, products, and all those kind of things. So let's not get into all this. As I told you, you have a budget, you have a corporate goals, you have a revenue budget, you have the growth one, you have market segmentation, all those things to be achieved. So the word is, how do you cascade down to different departments, different individual, one side, right side. Left side, how you enable each individual got a right KPI based on his job analysis, based on his competency mapping, how he gets training. It should be a development oriented, not like performance appraisal. So if it is done again like training, I told you, if it is done scientifically, this is one of the best managerial principle. I can personally vouch for it. Employee should be happy. All tasks should be achieved with effortless ease. So performance management tools and system and approach is such a thing which is given to management if it is used properly. But whereas in most of the place, again, it is taken like a nightmare. So this is we talked about the meaning, definition, and evaluation of performance management to what should be the objective and the purpose of the management. Now the third is like the first when I started saying, what is the process of performance management system? What is the process? How do you structure this performance management system? The third, how do you go about processing the performance management system? Come on. Come on, guys. Somebody else, I want to tell you, you are all going through in your organization, right? Arun, come on. Arun, you talk. What is the process of PMS system?
Sorry, I just muted. Actually, basically, we initially set a goal for the entire team, like what is the goal set for the entire year for goal. We have some 2-3 slides like with regard to that, the performance with regard to the company organization, and like that we have some 4-5 categories of the goals that we do for all the employees, and in the meantime. Frequently we used to monitor them and we'll just get them whenever required, and by end of the year we'll evaluate by sitting with them one-to-one, and we'll see whether the goals has been met or not, and we give percentage for each goals, and based on the goals achievement and based on their the performance, we'll evaluate that, and we'll just do the conclusion for this.
Okay. Theoretically, how do you say about process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? For example, setting the goals and KPI for each individual by the department head, appraiser with appraisee. That's a process 1, right?
Okay.
Go with that till assessment.
Can I?
Yeah, I want a process 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entities, right? Starting from beginning, close. So we are talking only one part of it. What is the process?
So the first step will be the manager will set the goal, and it will. He will ask for the employee confirmation. Okay. So once the employee confirms, then it is mutually agreed. So that is the first step. Then it will go for it will be reviewed periodically. Like we have 3 months, 6 months timeline will be there. Mid review, half-yearly, and final annual review. So that will be.
That is step number 2.
Yeah, that is step number 2. Then during the review also we have a feedback session, like whether any additional training is required, or whatever training had did it fetch results? So such type of feedbacks will be evaluated, and restructuring will be done so that it gets to meet the organization goal. So that will be the third step.
Third step. Okay, done. Very good.
So in the planning stage, in the beginning itself, we would have set the KRA and KPI for a respective role. So the final during the final review, we evaluate against the goals what is the achievement done. So that is the final step, and there will be a rating allotted. Like you have we grade it normally 3A, 2A, A, and B, C category.
Hold on, Venkatesh. Up to 3, you are all right. 4 onwards, you are. The fourth is you will, at the end of the year, fourth step is you ask the employee to give a self-appraisal.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Self-appraisal on what is the mutually agreed, what is his achievement, what are the issues. So he gives in writing the self-appraisal report. Fourth.
Yeah, self-appraisal is done. Then the manager will do his appraisal on employee's self-appraisal.
Right. Yeah, the appraiser or his immediate boss, who is called appraiser, will do the evaluation based on his self-appraisal.
Yes.
That is
so
fifth.
that is the fifth. So for example, in the fifth stage, you will have the rating, 2 ratings you will have. One is the employee rating, and the second one is the reporting manager rating. So with this output, there will be a team of like appraisal board will be there, which has the manager and a person from like head of HR will be there, and other teams also will be there, other department heads also will be there. So it is like a 360-degree appraisal. So everyone will talk about particular employees rating, whether he.
Hold on, sixth is called a reviewer. There is an appraiser, appraisee. Then the reviewer will also give his comment based on the appraiser, whether it's right or not, to what extent he will do. Then the reviewer could be a single man or could be a board, right? That is sixth one.
Yes.
Next.
Yeah, you mentioned in a single word as reviewer. I just elaborated it.
Yeah, that's what I told you, the process, na? Self-appraisal, appraiser, reviewer.
Yeah.
This is, I want you to everybody to understand in a simplified manner. All of you know, but bringing back the simple words to you. Okay, then the reviewer writes it. Then
so reviewer writes it, and final rating will be achieved. Will be finalized. Okay, so that will be linked to the whether with respect to organization objective, what is the percentage achieved.
No, hold on. Now, once the conclusion is done, how concluded, we'll come to that now. How do they conclude? What is the rating done? That's another aspect. That's another practice. Now, in the process, we'll touch the practices, performance practices. Now, in the process, once the reviewer completes, then the report goes to the employee concerned. The employee should be given time, 3 days, 4 days to appeal. Whether he or not agrees, to what extent agrees, it should come back. Then finally, the committee should listen to his appeal, then conclude and give it back. So this is the whole process of performance appraisal. Now, say number 1, self-appraisal. Number 2, appraisee, self-appraisal by appraisee or individual. Appraised by a department head called appraisal. Then the reviewer. Okay, then the feedback is given to that guy. Then he appeals it back. Then finally given back to him. This is the process of it.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Now let's see the practices. The practices means what kind of weightage you give. What is 360 degree? What is 160 degree? You know, there could be many practices in performance management system, right? Online management, offline management, 360 degree, 180 degree. Correct?
Yeah.
So practices normally done in organization, which all of you, I want you to share. Every organization must be having their own practices, right? How many? And when it comes to evaluation, that could be a simple trait-based evaluation, or a forced curve method, or a ranking system, or a behavioral-based system. I talked about now the performance practices, management practices. Correct? It could be a forced curve method. People like it, yes or no. Somebody says good, somebody says bad. They say simple trait method, simple ranking method, a relative assessment method. Okay, quantifying more, qualifying more, and some of the positions which cannot be quantified, leadership levels. To what extent you have to quantify, to what extent it can be qualified. So there are many number of practices, PMS practices. What are those practices? Can we list down? And the approach is, you can 360 degree means all of you know. Then it's not only by appraiser and reviewer, it is done by many people. It could be 180 degree. 180 degree could be on practice. 360 degree could be on. All of you know about 180, 360, right? I don't think you need explanation. Hello, do you need explanation?
No, Professor.
No. So 180 degree could be on practice. Let us take out 25 best practices in PMS here. 180 degree, 360 degree. What else? Force curve rank system, behavioral anchored system, trait based. Sorry?
Bell curve system.
Bell curve system. Bell curve is force curve. Bell curve. Okay, what else? What are the words you heard about? Online assessment, self-appraisal you talked about. Which are the practices? All of you use different words in our organizations. Can we come up with 10, 15 terminology or the practices in performance management system? If you understood the whole thing. Cascading up, organizational goals down to individual KRA. MBO approach to fixing KRA. Mutually agreed. Management by objective kind of approach to fixing KRA. What else? Fixation of KRA itself is one of the PMS functions, right? So how will you do it? Maybe through MBO approach, management by objective. That's one best practices. What else? There's not many books written. I'm making it too simple for you guys. Only 5, 6 headings, simple and straightforward. And I can tell you, if you remember this thing, much more for you. What else? Tell me. So what will be the format of template of the PMS system? The first section A, B, C, D. How a typical template of a PMS system would include in a PMS system. That I'll give you 5 minutes to go through the net and come back. Now the best practices on PMS. Anybody can name any more?
Yeah, sir. Actually, we have here when in the beginning of the year, the manager when setting a goal, he will have some 3 parts. Actually, in my we have 3 parts. One is the performance goal, one is strength and development needs, and one is overall comments. So when it comes to the when it comes to performance goals, there we have value creation goal and operations. Operation he has to do. There is no thing. And one is value creation, one is operation, one is organization goal, safety and compliance. That comes under performance goal, and strength and development, we need plan and development and core values.
Your own individual development, your stretched goals. How much you are achieving the assorted goals, or how much you are stretched it. What is your personal development goals? This all becomes your personal practice, PMS practice. You put it in practices, then you can use it wherever you want it. Very well, Arun. Good point you take. So we talked about some 10, 15 practices now. How many terminology we used it? Can you repeat somebody? You talked about fixation of goal could be on a personal, professional, stretched goals. That's one. Or fixation of KRA should be on an MBO based approach. Right? It's a self-appraisal, 180 degree, 360 degree, different methods of assessment, bell curve, or a post-MCON, or relative grading, or a behavioral rank, or a same ranking. Feedback system. What else? What are the words we use? If you know all the words, if you know these 5 steps that I told you, you are through with the PMS system as a generalist. Online assessment. Now they are also making it online. Online assessment means you need some typical 6-7 words. Optimizing productivity, handling change management. Whether as a leader, is he able to handle all those things? Is he able to optimize production? Like suppose we are assessing a president or somebody else. And where you have the frequency of PMS for a operation could be more. The frequency of a PMS for a research and development cannot be more. Correct? If you do more frequency, the research guy will go mad. But if a sales and marketing guy, if you don't do the frequency, performance duration, frequency less, then you are not able to measure and not control it. So the other angle is that to what extent the duration of performance system management system cycle should be or for which function. That is another approach, right? And to what extent quantification, to what extent quality of approach is needed. For salesman, again, 70-80% may be quantification. For a senior level, maybe 40% could be only quantification, 60% could be quality of approach. So what weightage is on quantity or quality? Duration is less or more. Okay, which are the other practices? I hope are we learning the PMS system in a simple manner? Are we or not?
Yes,
sir.
Hello?
Yes, Professor.
You are all experienced guys. You are not going to be an expert in PMS. I understanding in a simple, knitted manner. But if you want to go into detail, this slide I'm going to share with you, there are 169 slides. You will go mad if I go in dealing with that kind of. This is for only those people who are doing a specialization in PMS system itself. Okay, what else? What else you want to know about?
Also, like while goal setting will be given the cost target also, like so much of euros or dollars need to be saved for this year. Like it will be driven from the top level, and it will be when it's coming for the individual level, it will be splitted. Like if it is a $100,000 of savings to be the organization, then it will be splitted the team wise, like $5,000 or $4,000. It will be coming to individual. So how you are going to save in your work area, like in some component level, you are simplifying, or you are going to do some simplification in process, or might be the part like that. It will be taken care. So cost target is also one of the
Department-wise targets.
Department-wise, right. So now how many headings we see? Evolution and meaning, definition of PA, performance appraisal, performance management, right? Then we seen the process of performance management, right? 3, we talked about the best practices of performance management. 3 issues. Now the 4th one is that, does the performance management end and link with further action in terms of linking with training and development, giving promotion, giving increment, or it should be kept separately?
No, it is interlinked. Performance.
Theory. People say no, PMS is PMS. It is not be linked with the promotion and increment and things like that.
No, it is interlinked with individual and organization goals.
Right. So it should be linked up. Performance management system after the end should be linked up to giving promotion, giving increment, sending him for training and development, for taking him for a new position. It should be extended that level or not. If it is not extended, is it a good system? Is it complete?
It should be extended, Professor.
It should be extended.
Perfect. Yes.
It should be integrated, right?
Yes.
It should be even identifying a training need from the PMS system.
Yeah.
You know, one paragraph could be on the template, last paragraph. These are the identified training needs for this person. Maybe even he has done a good job. Even then you identify a training need. Since he has done a good job, he has got so much leadership, please give him leadership training to take him to the next level. Or somebody who has not done a good job, he needs training on this level. So the PMS system should be interrelated, linked to training and development, promotion, increment. Suppose good job, good guy, you're not given him this thing. How will he take it? Right? So it has to be linked up, otherwise it doesn't serve the purpose. I strongly believe it should be linked. Some organizations they believe, no, he's a great guy, he's done very well, but I don't essentially increase his salary. To me, I don't believe in that theory. It has to be incentivized, you know. Whatever good performance has to be recognized also. Otherwise, it goes in a solo.
Agreed,
Okay.
Professor.
Now, you guys tell me, what will be the template of the PMS format for a senior level or a middle level? 6th level. You will design a format, right? At the end of the day. You want to take 5 minutes, refer it and come back to me. How are you going to decide at the end of the day PMS template or a format? So the PMS concept is clear to all of you guys. The questions could be, what is appraisal? What is management? What is 360 degree? What is 180 degree? Which are the variables relating to effective performance management system? What is bell curve system? What is advantages of bell curve system? What is 360? What is 180 degree? Okay. What is the duration? All these kind of questions can come up, which you should be able to answer it. Now, finally, I want you to take 5 minutes, see the process and the template. How will you design a template? And tell me. Then any questions you want to ask on this, ask me. Okay. Now 4:15, take 5 minutes. 4:20 will be back.
This is covered in some of the, means this topic will be covered in HR, like if the people take specialization of HR.
Yeah, if they are taking specialization, this will be a detailed one.
Detailed, okay.
What we discussed is broadly.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It's but I'm sharing all the slides with you guys. Huh?
Okay, okay.
If you want, you can make use of it. Yeah, please go ahead. Are you ready?
Yeah, the template will be changing company to company. It depends like what exactly the company is looking from the employee.
Normally, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there are approaches. What would be the, like one-to-one self-appraisal, something like that? Comments by appraisal, comments by the
might be like few companies follow like 4-quadrant method wherein they add short-term goal, long-term goal, and
right.
and education or technical trainings they need or developments, anything, and the personal behavior of the individual. So 4-quadrant method they'll follow, and some company like Excels or something that will be maintaining like wherein they need to employee need to fill in all the information regarding his education background or short-term goal, long-term goal, and mid-term, like 2 year down the line, 3 year down the line, or 6 years down the line, like that. You need to just note down there, and also the areas of development and what actions he personally taking there, or might be the management will help him to come up with his goals. So like the different templates will be made.
Yeah. So typically, if you say, for example, number one would be what? Self-appraisal.
Yeah, self-appraisal.
In the self-appraisal, people can talk about functional achievement, personal achievements, stretched achievements,
Yeah.
term goal, mid-term goal, long-term goal. Everything is taken care of in the self-appraisal itself, right?
Yes.
Where the employee himself is also giving weightage, and there's a column. Then section B would be appraisal by the appraiser, right?
Yeah.
Right. The
So
section A
manager
is
feedback.
self-appraisal.
Manager feedback will be given.
When I said template, section A is like a self-appraisal sheet filled by the employee concerned, right? Appraisee. Wherein whatever you said is taken care of. Your KRA, KPA, your functional, personal, short-term, mid-term, your whatever, all those stretched goals, everything is taken care of. Section B is comments by the appraiser with reference to section A and by the self-appraisal. Right?
Yes.
Section B is comments on by the reviewer. Right?
Yeah. Manager will be reviewing the goals, and he'll be and end of the year he'll be commenting about his feedback.
Section D could be quantifying all those things and subjective comments also.
Yeah.
Right? Written by all of them, like the appraiser and reviewer or HR head, everybody sitting together. Section D writes on that all those things. Section E could be the worst difficult part of it is that feedback review comments. Handling a feedback is a very big challenge, especially when you are going to negative feedback. So the section E could be how the feedback has been given, what is the response has to be noted in the template. I'm just giving off the hand. If I have to design, I'll go like this: A, B, C, D, E. So in the E part is that feedback is. So if you have a format like that, you are not going to go commit a mistake in doing a PMS system in structuring. A is self-appraisal, which covers everything, whatever you said. B is by appraiser. C by reviewer. D quantification by all concerned. E is a feedback handling. How the feedback is given, what is the feedback handled. F could be finally, what is the action taken? Training program, increment given, all those things. So by this A, B, C, D, E, F, are we covering the complete process, complete practices properly or not? So to this extent, the template also helps a lot. Anybody else like to add something? Or this is the best method or some other method? A, B, C, D, E. A self-appraisal, B section by appraiser, C by reviewer, D by the committee, E feedback handling, F by action taken. Right? The self-appraisal you are covering all KRA, KPA, personal goal, professional goal, stretched goals, long-term, mid-term, with reference to budget. Everything is covered in the self-appraisal part of it. Is it exclusive, comprehensive, this kind of template?
It covers the complete cycle.
It completes the complete cycle, right?
Yes.
So it's a systematic. Whatever we discussed about the process or the system, everything is taken in the template clearly. And which are the major challenges today in PMS system? Is everybody should be fair and transparent. Okay. 2, one should go much detail in breaking the task into measurable smart activities. 3, how you are going to handle the negative feedback. First of all, people are not willing to give feedback. People are willing to play safely, average. Most of them around a 50-60 kind of marks, not too low, not too high, or maybe few people too high, but nobody likes to come to give a lowest mark. Or even give a lowest mark, how do you handle them? This is a big challenge. Handling the negative feedback in the PMS system is a big challenge. But all said and done, if the way we discussed about it, if the PMS is structured properly, okay, through a KRA, KPA, mutual settlement, development oriented, whatever we discussed in the last class, if it is taken, if you gone this way and properly, frequently done, all the best practices are used appropriately. Meaning by where the organization is not even ready for 180 degree, you are trying to bring in 360 degree, which will immediately jeopardize the whole system. If you should be ready for 360 degree, you cannot implement 360 degree. So using the right kind of practices at the right dosage. You cannot overuse this dosage. So then again the system will go. So today, just because some new concept comes, we'll all start using it. So using the right best practices at the right stage of the organization. Every organization goes through different technical, research-oriented, growing organization, dying organization, mature organization, bureaucratic organization. So it has to be used, the best practices have to be used properly. So if you use all those things in a professional, structured, knowingly, with a lot of informed decision, performance management system can play a significant role in making the employee happy and contributing to the budgetary goal, organizational goals, and the competitors, this thing in a cascaded manner as an individual, as a team, as a group, as an organization. Correct? Have you understood PMS system? I don't think you need a different lecture on that one. Yeah. Well, you don't have a lot of time. That's why I took it in my own practical steps. I didn't go through the theoretical method. Yeah.
So one observation in the 360 degree approach, I think the reviewing part is also a challenge. It may review the reviewing part like once.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because once employee self-appraisal is done, it will be again appraiser will review it. Then it will go for the reviewer team or committee, where if the committee has all the stakeholders who very well knows about all employees, what they do, how they perform, then it will have a positive impact, whatever feedback they give. It may also, it may also end up negative in some cases to some employees.
Very good, Shankar. Very well said. Criminally we'll say no, 10 offenders can go without punishment.
Yeah. So how this is managed well in
punishment by, what you said is very good. Only the department head, appraiser will be there, and the next guy who is also directly involved in the business of that company, not that anybody from outside. So that is where the 360 degree got its limitations, right? Somebody from outside is seeing only one perspective of you. I've not seen the other perspective of you, right? You talk to me very rudely. So I found opinion.
Yeah, because outsider in this sense, it is all our key stakeholders whom we work on day-to-day basis, but we may not be involved on daily basis with those teams.
So but even if you're using 360 degree, the weightage should be very less given to 360 degree. When you finally take a marking, first of all, your organization should be ready to do. If it is not ready, don't do it. If you do it also, give very less weightage to 360 degree. More weightage should be the appraiser and the reviewers.
Okay.
They know better than the other 360 degree people, right? You take it for a cross verification, but the weightage and the implication should be very nominal, just to test these appraisers and reviewers approach, or validating them. Not that you are going by the 360 degree comments. Have you answered your question, Venkatesh? It's a very practical challenge.
Yeah, because in many cases, the final reviewing may not involve the appraiser itself.
No, appraisals should be involved everywhere. Because he's the main stakeholder next to appraising. He's day-to-day involved in his work, right?
Yes.
Anything else? So all of you have understood PMS system? 5-6 steps I've given. I think we covered it properly, very well for your kind of people, experienced people, not the youngsters who are coming to study MBA. I hope it's clear to all of you, the concept, the methods, process, everything, best practices. Clear or not clear?
Yeah, clear, bro.
Clear. And I want from others also. Say yes. Others
Yes,
guys.
Professor.
Clear. Okay, so next class you are going to make a presentation, right? All of you.
Yes, Professor.
How many classes left out? 2 more classes? How many classes we left out? 2 or 3?
2 classes.
2. No, so 1 you will take. 1 I will talk to you about labor law and employee compliance and things like that, and the best practices in HR. Or anything else you want me to cover, let me know. Okay. The last class I want to talk to you something about compliance and importance of labor law, the amendment in the labor law, and some of the emerging best practices like best employer, competency mapping, PCMM5 and things like that. Okay, that's my plan. Anything else you want, please let me know. Okay. Done?
So,
Can we
Professor, on the second assignment, so after our presentation, it will be graded, right? Or
then this time we'll try to grade then and there and load it. Somebody should sit with me then. 1 hour we can enter it, yeah. Then, entering it takes a lot of time, then I'll keep postponing tomorrow. Second assignment, then and there we'll do it, don't worry. First assignment, I'll try to complete holiday tomorrow. I'll try to complete.
okay. In second also, most of us have already uploaded.
Yeah. No, but you need to make a presentation, huh?
Yeah.
Process.
Okay.
Done. I will see your second this thing also tomorrow.
Okay.
So second assignment individually can they schedule with you, sir, or it's in the class only we have to do?
See, the university process says that we need to see the participation of team consent. We can also do it outside the class, but it's better. The other thing is that everybody should learn from everybody, right, Arun?
Yeah.
That is objective, right? You are working on something, I'm listening to you, I learn. You learn from me, that is objective. Let's see how it comes out on the next day. Okay. Chalo then. Bye to all of you. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Just
Thank you, Professor.